LaTB, where MMA and UFC get silly. This is the LaTB podcast.
Welcome back. This is LaTB MMA podcast. I'm Emmanuel, and as always, my partner in crime, Cheney, letting you know what we're gonna get into today.
So first, we are going to recap UFC 246, Conor McGregor versus Cowboy. We are going to fly through the Twitterverse and talk about all the shit that the UFC fighters are tweeting about. And then we will break down UFC Raleigh and give you our picks for the Fight Pick Championships.
Absolutely star-studded event we last came from. Pay-per-view, first one of the year. We were dry for a whole month. I wanted fights so bad, it clouded my judgment. It gave me one of the worst cards of the year. Coming in low. God, did I shit in bed. Habib would have been proud of me. God, it was a tough night.
Were they bad throughout the whole night?
Entire night.
All night.
All night long. Woo!
I mean, I know we're going to recap it right now and go back through them. I didn't know if it cleaned up for you come the Fight Pick Championships or not.
Nope. But we had a lot of mayhem ended up going on beforehand. We had fights falling out. After weigh-ins, Alexa Grasso coming in 5.5 pounds, 5.1 pounds overweight. The commission actually scratched it. Gadelha was ready to fight, but Grasso officially moving up to 125, never trying 15 again. Gadelha doesn't get a fight. That messes up my Fight Pick Championships.
It sure did. I felt like we had a good underdog pick in that, or we disagreed. You had Alexa Grasso.
I switched to Gadelha as well.
Oh, see,
yep.
I thought she was going to
too.
grind her out, even with the 5-pound difference. I felt really comfortable about it, and I was really bummed out that fight card got canceled. And I even feel like I said to you, I'm so glad this Brian Kelleher fight isn't on our Fight Pick Championships. Don't you remember?
Yeah.
I think it was that fight I was talking about. And when it showed up out of any fight that could have been on there, I was like, well, do you stay with Boom or go with the Tide? I guess we'll talk about it when we get there. But that did not have to be the fight that they swapped it out with. I was bummed out. But the it's not even controversy. The real reason that I think is ESPN was like, oh, we got to lose one of our fights. You can have this one.
Really? That was after some of the early week stuff? Gadelha was hot.com. That girl was out. Did you see her? That was the best version I've ever seen of Gadelha.
She looks good.
She looked amazing.
She looks good right now.
Definitely keep going, girl. But Dana White coming out afterwards and then people being like, just get her another fight. And Dana White actually saying, I don't want her to fight right away. She just did a weight cut. She can't turn around and do it again. She's too big of a girl. And it's really interesting how Dana's kind of sticking up for her. How do you feel about that situation so far?
To me, the ESPN era of Dana seems like he cares about the fighters more. It's so weird. I noticed him saying that certain people should retire, and where he never said that kind of stuff before. Well, I guess he did, Tito and like
he
those
paid
kind.
Matt
But it just
Hughes
seemed
to
like
retire.
He just seems softer. Like there's something seems a little. I even think the fights that they're making, they seem to be like there's big stars coming in, and they're not feeding them to the dragon on their second fight. They're like working big fighters up now. We're watching them get 3 and 4 fights, like to work up to a bigger name. I don't know. I think to me, the new era of Dana, maybe it's the billionaire Dana. Maybe it's that, whatever. I don't know what's going on, but he seems like a little softer, especially towards certain people. I think it's a good idea. I think we've seen fighters that have turned around and done that and taken a fight really quick, get knocked out quick.
Right.
I wish I could pull one out of my repertoire.
So, definitely a loss, but we'll see where Grasso goes at 125 now because she's now a new competitor in that division, looking very muscular. So, she didn't even try, though. At 5 point something, I was actually ashamed that she brought out the hoop of shame. It's like, you're 5 pounds over. Why you get naked? Why are you doing this?
Because she didn't want to be 7 pounds over.
Right? It's like, come out, lady. So, we'll see how it goes. I like both ladies moving forward. The other ladies that started off the entire night over in Las Vegas was Sabina Mazo coming in and defeating JJ Aldridge in a 3-round decision. You know I like me some JJ Aldridge. I thought that left hand was landing all night long. JJ moving forward, being the pressure fighter, the more countering Mazo in it. Aldridge also had more strikes over the fight. I don't see how JJ actually lost this fight. I thought this was an easily 29-28, if not 30-27. JJ, judges gave it to Mazo. What'd you take away from this first one?
I thought it was really close, and if it would have gone either way, I wasn't going to be upset. I actually had Mazo in the fight, so I was excited about it. But to me, JJ was handling the beginning, but the full last round was Mazo's. Easily to me, the full last round. And I felt like at least 2 solid, I'd have to rewatch it all, 2 solid to 3 solid minutes of the second round. She started to turn it on and really handle her. The weird part of the first is how pressure fighting JJ was, and she throws out so many strikes, which I think it's funny because I don't think you can pick and choose to use the fight metric. But this should be like one of your unbiased rewatch, girl. I should put it on the list to watch it later on.
Sure.
I thought that Mazo just looked so sloppy out there, her fighting style, because she was so long and lanky compared to Aldrich. She looked really sharp. But Aldrich just looked worn. She did not wear it well. Her cardio seemed to bust. And then I thought she started to get handled. But it was so close, I wouldn't have been upset either way. And then it went to my girl. It went to my girl.
You're a fan of Mazo then.
I like Mazo.
I still don't like her style, but she got her first win in the UFC, I believe. So that's definitely going to be ladies that are going to just mix up. Alexa Grasso could have either one of them for lunch and welcome her way into the 125 pound division.
That's a great idea. I think actually against Aldridge is a perfect idea.
Not bad. And Aldridge put on a 3-fight losing streak. Because they're both stand-up strikers,
right? Let's see it. That seems like a great fight. Aldridge will go in for the takedown, but only if she's getting hurt.
Right, and Grasso supposedly got better, but that's another fight for another time. I'm ready for it now.
This fight would have been better than Holly Holm Pennington on them.
It was by far better than that, by a mile. They were actually having fun in there. Then we move on to 205 pounds, where we have debuting Alexa Kamur coming in against Justin Ledet, 3-round decision. I thought Ledet boxed him up in there. I liked the tactical game plan for Kamur. He didn't blow his load at any point in time in there. So the young man got past a stern test, but Ledet is one of these guys that we've said time and time again should be a heavyweight, not a 205er. And at 205, I don't think he's a UFC 205 type of a fighter, unfortunately for him. It's just, he's got nothing there for them. Guys can just out be more athletic than him, and Ledet has that opportunity at heavyweight.
Yeah, this was a bummer. I didn't care. I didn't put it anywhere. I was totally not invested in it, even while it was on.
I agree. I definitely kept away from this, because even in when Kamur wasn't worth anything, I think he was around 8,007 or 900. So I'm glad we stuck away from that one. Then we moved on to...
I have to say it aloud so I remember. I need to do a recap image for the YouTube going forward. So It has the recap of the last fights, and it'll have like Connie Mack on it, and so everyone knows this. We're not talking about UFC Raleigh yet for the people that are watching at home.
So then we move on to a performance of the night in Drew Dober coming in over Nasrat Haqparast. We were torn here at LaTB. I was like, Dober has way more of a shot than people think. Didn't think it was going to be that quick, but Dober really dialing it in there, showing, all sorts of handsomeness in there. He's turning into a poster boy for the UFC, getting all sorts of modeling potential options. But this was, I feel like, 10 strikes unanswered. The ref could have got in there even earlier. Nasrat going stiff after a left hand.
What do you feel about Nasrat?
A little too much hype. GSP, everyone, GSP's like, this is the next guy.
Is it almost like the Drake touch? Anytime a Canadian tells you you're a good guy, it messes you up your career.
Or they're like, this is the next John Jones. It doesn't ever pan out. There's only one. There's only one. Who did Ode as well? He was the next Conor McGregor.
So now that's the new thing is we don't want the GSP touch.
Correct. The touch of death.
Yeah, but Drew Dober looked amazing for what it was in there, but I also felt like Nasrat a little bit. He was being arrogant and cocky and kind of deserved to get caught a little.
He hears that hype as much as we do.
Yeah, it showed a little in there, and Drew Dober looking like he looked like a whole different dude, even in the face. I'm like, is this a clone of Drew Dober? He just looked like Drew Dober's more handsome, better fighter of a brother.
Who did?
Drew Dober.
Look like who?
Drew Dober, a more handsome version of Drew Dober.
Okay, that's where I was like, wait, did I miss it?
Didn't he look different a little? Like, he just looked like a more chiseled, better looking version of himself.
He looks like a real life version of American Dad, the Seth MacFarlane series, that jaw, where it's like that Quagmire jaw. We talked about it before. So definitely Dober finally getting a name out there. He's going to be somebody to watch for a while. Looking all sorts of nasty. Hapcrass, give him anybody in there. Either one of these fighters, give him anyone. But Drew Dober's definitely going to be on people's avoid list. Then we move on to 125 pounds where we had Askar Askarov coming in and defeating Tim Elliott in a 3-round decision. This was also one where Elliott was the fighter that was pressuring a lot more. The first round, he did go stiff for a split second.
Oh, yeah.
Stayed on his feet and ended up pretty much ending the fight just standing. There was a couple ground scrambles, a couple reversals. Tim Elliott actually had, I believe, 3 throws in there that were pretty mega. Really close fight. I thought you could have given it to Elliott, but
I did not at all. I thought Askarov
the striker
handled it.
The sharper striking was Askarov, and he did land at a little bit more, but Elliott stayed in his face and got takedowns.
I know Askarov got takedowns too, and he got gnarly slam on Tim Elliott and had the better hands all the way around. I was excited. I hope people give this the credit that it's due going forward with Askarov because he's super dangerous. Like Tim Elliott, I felt like he handled Tim Elliott, and Tim Elliott was so frustrated in there. He ate a couple head kicks, a couple body shots that kept getting him. I thought he was kind of getting picked apart everywhere. I don't know. I think Tim Elliott's... He's one of those guys that'll stop a hype train for sure, but I think he's seen the end of
better
the top.
days.
Yeah. Yeah,
he's definitely have so much going on in his out of the cage life that it has been affecting him for a while, and need to start paying attention to that. I keep going with my boy Tim Elliott.
Yeah.
Keep going, and he just...
Askarov, though, dangerous going forward.
For sure.
So much improvement from his last fight, and that's what I want to see. I want to see a fighter that looks like they grew.
Elliott doesn't and hasn't.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he does the same thing.
He looked less emotional 4 fights ago, and now he looks like he's losing his mind. Like, it's like a different dude. Like, he's just wants so badly to get some kind of hype behind him, even if it's bad hype, so he gets re-signed or something. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird.
He might get sent back to the minor leagues again for the second time in his UFC career.
If it wasn't the 125, because he will always keep an exciting fight, they might keep him around.
We'll see. He's not doing any favors for himself in the style that he's not growing out of in the way that he's doing things. So I agree. Askarov looking good in there. Then we had a fight of the night potential in here with Sadiq Youssef coming in against Andre Touchy Fili. This was a plus money puesta. I had Fili in this thinking he was going to be able to outbox it in there, change some angles up, and feel like Youssef held on. The first round was the most competitive for Fili, but after that, it was pretty much Youssef just kind of walking away with the fight and Fili not making the adjustments he absolutely needed to, where it was more Youssef got caught off in the first round and made the adjustments. I think that it's going to be undersold. Fili is still way better of a fighter, and Youssef can do a lot more damage than he was allowed to do in there because Fili still showed good craftsmanship, good ringmanship in there. It was a crafty fight.
I think it was a great fight, and if Andre Fili is honest going forward, he will say Sodiq Youssef hits harder than probably any other person that I've fought, and it should be a testament to Andre Fili staying alive in there and still fighting as well as he did.
Sure.
Because he ate some shots to me to still keep going. I was like, it was an awesome fight. I loved it.
It was a great fight. I really, really enjoyed this fight as well. Definitely both guys, just minute little skills, and both of them growing so much. Youssef still being so young in the UFC, and Feely is the veteran, but
I love both dudes going forward.
right, still doing new things in there. If anything, I hope he goes. I don't know what his relationship is with TJ, but if he were to go to Elevation for a while, Feely being a 10th planet.
TJ isn't there. He's at his
other place. But even then, he needs to get out of that alpha male scene for a bit. And just keep...
Who, Andre Feely?
Andre Feely. I think he'd do the better.
He needs to grow a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, there needs to be...
a little movement in his camps,
but I like
potentially.
those guys still.
Then we move on to the preliminary headlining card, where we had Roxanne Modafferi coming in as the biggest underdog of the year over Macy, the Future Barber. Oh, what a cloudy future ahead for the no longer youngest champ of all time. Because that was one of the biggest things she was hanging her hat on. And Roxanne Modafferi put it right in the back seat. Shut up, Macy. Get in the back of the line. Take your ACL and go heal up, girl. Congratulations, Roxanne Modafferi. And do I have to say, at Juice, Fighting With Myself podcast, the only person I heard taking Roxanne and not giving two shits about it. It came through.
I felt like I gave Roxanne tons of credit on air. And
yep.
I said she could grind her out and take this all the way to the end. And I hope that Macy lays enough shots. I had Macy Barber by decision, hoping that she could lay enough shots. All that being said, Roxanne Modafferi in this fight, the way she looked in this fight, and I don't know if it says like, oh, Macy Barber is not even worth it. But... I think Macy Barber still is worth it. This shows that she has to work on her ground game. She has some holes in her thing, blah, 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 blah. But it shows that Roxanne Modafferi, dare I say, I want to see her fight the Bullet.
No way.
Not yet, but I think that I want to see her fight like a strong wrestler first, maybe like a Pinar and and then go and fight the Bullet. I'm impressed by that. I thought her victory, she can take a shot. She had a well-crafted game plan. I felt like her ring IQ in there was top notch. She did everything right, set it up so she could take rest where she needed to, kept all the exchanges were beautiful. I don't know. I was so impressed with Roxanne, and I don't know if it just says, oh, well, Macy Barber's garbage. Or if it's that Roxanne really does have more martial arts experience than Macy had.
It's worth something. It's worth something in there. I did like the striking from Roxanne. It definitely was the better striking I've ever seen her throw. Mm-hmm. The least looping, more on the shot. She didn't get hit by
anything. She was backing out at good times.
She was doing really well.
Checking.
But you gotta say, that ACL, that she had to have had that. No, I can't make excuses for Macy Barber, but there's a lot of fighters that turn something early on in camp.
But fucking 5-6 minutes of that fight before the ACL.
That, Roxanne was
handling it. Could have 10-8'd the first round still.
But
handling it.
Let's say that ACL was hanging on by a thread because of the week before, and Macy's like, I don't care, I can beat her without it. And then once she got in there, she's like, oh shit, I can't move. And Roxanne looks like freaking Anderson Silva in there for a bit. Because this girl's got a bad injury. How do you feel about the Kanye West moment at the end? I mean, Macy Barber taking the mic from Joe Rogan, being like, I'm sorry, it's okay.
Well, at least I'm glad she's humble and didn't run off and do the Ronda Rousey thing, say, I learned a lot here. I'm ready. You know, she's a kid. All of her actions up to this point, and even that, were like, let me take this moment. Like, she's a kid. But if you want to give her an excuse, like maybe her ACL tore on the walk-in. But I'm giving her her body, Roxy's body from top to bottom. Plus,
she looked great.
The extra part, because we always talk how this is an entertainment sport. She gave us that at the weigh-ins and pulled her own corny shit and anime shit. And then to take it to the next level, she got this fight on Twitter. She got this fight. She handpicked her fight. And I think from this point forward, she was the head preliminary card. I wouldn't be surprised. I will bet this year we see Modafferi versus Shevchenko. If Shevchenko fights 2 fights. I think it could get dangerous because Shevchenko wants that Amanda Nunes fight again. And so if UFC wants to set up something big for fight week or whatever, and she's fighting Chukagian coming up anyway.
Right.
But I wouldn't doubt it. I think Modafferi could get one good fight and be a fight away. I could say 2021 because the Bullet only fights like twice a year.
Ugh, what a travesty that is.
Yeah.
So, interesting in the division.
I loved
This
Roxy.
shakes it up. I loved Roxy as well. I'm not taking anything away from her. She earned it. She earned it.
What's the blonde fighter that I liked for a while with the hair that looked like mine when I had the blonde hair? She's tall as fuck.
Jason?
Yeah,
Macy
Chiasson. I knew
There
it was
it
a
is.
Macy. And I was like, oh, I liked her. And then I one time thought, like, is that my ego? Do I just like her because we resemble each other? But that is what I think Juice likes so much about Roxanne, because that could be his kin. That could be his kin. They could be related.
Unadopted.
I'm waiting
Fraternal
for Roxanne Modafferi. You know what, Roxanne Modafferi? I'm gonna say it here. She should walk out to Dancing with Myself. She should walk out to that song.
Wow.
She listens to Juice.
Wow.
Who else stayed on that bandwagon?
I'm just saying. I know nobody. Nobody but Juice. He was the only one.
Like,
Congratulations.
I've been on the Bullet train since she lost to Amanda. Like, the OG. Like,
Sure.
I love that bitch since the beginning. But that is different than being on this train from the beginning.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Well, not from the beginning,
But for
but-
me, and to show up, though. For the girl to show up. Like, I don't know. I loved it. I'm excited about Roxanne Modafferi. And I hope Macy Barber and getting a little ass whooping, that'll make her a champion one day.
I agree. This will make her a better fighter than her getting a win
She should
ever
go
would do.
train with Roxanne.
Well, she needs
Get
to
her
heal up
knuckles
that
slapped.
leg. She needs to heal up that
yeah,
leg. She ain't got no
that'll be
ACL. Roxanne took that with her.
You're going to
Woo!
find out tomorrow. She didn't hurt anything in her knee.
No, they already
I'm
did.
just kidding.
Yeah, it's gone. She ain't got shit. Oh, the doctor, by the way, checking in there. Human MRI. How do you feel about that during the first and second round?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. That was bullshit.
The human MRI. All right, she's good. No. No, come on, dude.
Well,
what the fuck?
This is what shouldn't have happened. You just told her opponent that she had an injury that the opponent might not have known about.
Well, Roxanne actually said she backed off of that because she felt bad. She knew she was hurt and she didn't want to attack that leg when she should have. But
yeah.
hey, that's where I don't like at the Dragon Ball Z, because Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta, he's taking that shot. Majin Buu, they're taking that shot. That gets in all that deep. She's over 9,000.
There was not one point, though, ever that Roxanne was in trouble. You could have
Nope.
30-26 that fight.
Easy. I think it.
One judge did give it to
I
30-26.
think there was
I
one
tweeted
on
it
there.
out, and then one judge was like, "Weak neck, baby, right."
was it Adelaide Bird? Because
I know.
that started.
How dare you,
That was
sir? How dare you?
She did start off with me losing that JJ fight. When I heard Adelaide Bird, I was like, I'm fucked. There goes my night. Adelaide Bird being in there, riding him on her Porsche. Guess who had the most money other than Juice? Adelaide Bird, Roxanne Modafferi. Just saying. Look into it. Labby conspiracy.
I know. If you bet the house on Roxanne,
Woo! Did you see Dan Balzerian bet the house on Cowboy Cerrone?
oh my gosh,
Did you see that?
no.
His literally table full of money, but we'll get there. That was definitely one. Into the Fight Pick Championships, where it's worth all of the beans. We got into a 5-card pay-per-view. We got switched in
So do we want to talk how we did right now?
on the Fight Pick Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Disclosure.
I came in third. But I feel like I had so many. I don't know anyone. I at least tied for the most right picks. I just didn't get the points right.
That's
like
where it
I
matters.
think I got 4 or 5 of the fights right.
Nice. I only went 2 of 5 in. Over the night, 2 of 9. My worst fight card of the year.
I'm glad the 2 were at least on the fight pick.
The only time it mattered. But it was
Of the
my
year.
worst showing of the year. We can only go up from here.
Yeah,
that's
that's
it.
it.
That's absolutely it. So got it out of the way. It definitely hurt. It hurt a lot, but this ended up costing us
I
a
didn't
whole
do great.
extra.
I did 6 of 11.
It was everybody.
But I slayed fight pick championship. Anytime I finish in third or with my main card, I slay. Those TV cards always save it. Anyways.
Oh, I definitely shit in bus everywhere, so I had to go spend all my money somewhere else. Then we ended up having the first fight on the pay-per-view. It ended up being $75, $79. How much was this pay-per-view? Because it wasn't the same old
It's
65.
like, well, no, it's like $69.99, and then really in small print, it's like in whatever taxes and fees and blickety blockety blue or whatever. So it ends up being like 75.
That's
or
what
something.
I think. Yep, exactly. So it was an interesting one, but I do love seeing my boy Ferreira. We all thought he was going to come through. I was thinking it was going to be a TKO round number 3. He got a submission round number 2. Going to the ground with Pettis. That's where I think he definitely...
Pettis already gave up by this point. We
Always
knew.
does.
We knew before he got off the chair that his little ego was squashed. He didn't think he was going to go in there and get handled the way that he did. And we already knew it was shortcomings from there. Like, we knew it. It wasn't going the distance before he got off the
That's why we
stool.
both had a finish in that fight. Did we not?
I wish I had a finish. I had a decision, Fiera.
Oh, dang.
But no, we both knew he was going to finish while we were watching.
Oh,
it,
easy.
but-
Easy. That was one-way traffic, all Ferreira. Now his name's finally getting out there. You know we've been long ride or dies for a very long time. It's going to be hard to get any plus money, I feel like, on Ferreira from this point out, unless he's fighting those top 10. Well, I mean, Pettis at 155 is in that top 10. What does this make the
They're going to
ranking?
be talking shit like, oh, Pettis is over, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Like, so I think against a bigger name, I still think nobody but hardcores know who Diego is.
I think Pettis is a big enough name now that they're like,
I know
well,
he is, but I don't know if people have
do you
that.
respect it like you're saying,
Yeah.
right? Where they're like, oh, he's done. So if there's any type of plus money by Ferreira, it's gonna, you know what we doing over here. You got
Yeah.
90% chance of knowing what's going on. So Ferreira, anybody, Pettis, anybody, but it's probably time to go, my friend. Please. It's
Yeah.
just not looking good for you no
Yeah.
more. Then we move on to 135 pounds, where Brian Kelleher comes in as a big underdog against debuting Ode Osborne.
Ode.
Submission around number 1, guillotine. He was tapping with his feet in there. He got it in so tight. Kelleher's staying in his face.
Tried to tell you guys.
Trying to tell ya, should have went with that. I ended up switching back over to Ode. Was just like, I don't like all this singing stuff. Kelleher just coming out there and taking a little bit of shine away from my girl, KK, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, giving out props to Gamebred after the fight, being like, oh, I look up to you, homeboy. I look up to you. And it's like, that's my girl, KK Stans. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
Brian Kelleher looked good out there. I had Brian Kelleher submission, and it paid off because he was so cheap on DraftKings,
Yep.
and I had him everywhere. I was actually kind of frightened when the fight started, when I was looking through my cards, like, oh no. But who's O'Day? I like the amount of time Kelleher takes off. I think he's one of those guys on a win that he's like, I'll take a fight tomorrow.
Yeah.
Where, no, dude, take 6 months. Heal all the way. I think we're seeing that the ring rust, yeah, might be true, but healing your body might be more important. Healing your brain, healing all of your hands, healing your going in injury free might be more important. So Kelleher, I still like Boom. It depends on how much time he takes off in between.
Definitely.
And I'm glad he got on the main card and showed out.
He was on the Fight of the Night performance. He
Good
got
on
50
him.
grand, didn't he?
Good on him.
For being an
it was
underdog?
like his time to shine.
Definitely well-deserved win in there. Osborne, lower guys, yeah, he's going to be able to beat, but he definitely didn't get any layup shots with Kelleher in there. And anyone who was on Kelleher, good jab.
Boom.
Then we move on to Alexei Olenek coming in over Maurice Green. Submission, round number 2. I had Green finish him in 1. There was fun exchanges in there, some fun leg kicks, some knockdowns. As soon as it started to get to the ground and Maurice Green was like, oh, I'm going to Kimura him, I'm like, it's over. Yeah, you're going to Kimura Alexei Olenek, you doofus. You damn doofus. Get out of there. He couldn't get back up. Obviously, he almost got cranked out like Josh Barnett. And we'll use it in wrestling as a pinning combination, but it's a horrible neck crank,
Maurice
chest
Green
crank.
didn't do anything good in there. Alexei Olenek held him for 2 full rounds
Yep.
until he finally submitted him. I was like, oh no, his arms are burnt out. I hope he gets him down
Yep.
again. And then he was like almost pissed at himself that he couldn't get the submission before, so then he just went to the next one. You should have listened to me about this too.
I
Olenek
should've.
submission. I should have, if I had the round swapped, Olenek round 2, Kelleher round 1. Slay. But
Definitely we'll take what we can get out here.
yeah.
So, Olenek, absolutely gassed, but he is in every single fight. It's the heavyweight division. Green's on a 3-fight losing streak. Do you think he gets his walking papers, or does he keep fighting in the heavyweight division?
Heavyweight.
He gets
He'll
5
stay
fights in a
around.
right. He can have 4 in a row
Yeah.
before that happens. So
He'll probably lose 3 more times and then he'll get a flash knockout.
right. I like the weigh-ins for Green because I thought he looked more physically fit than he had in any previous fight as well.
I mean, how can he? You expect him to win when he was looking at Joe Rogan with one eye, looking at Olenek with the other. Shit.
He couldn't see that submission coming. Definitely.
He didn't even get a chance.
I thought there were some strikes in there that Olenek, I just think anybody can put him out if they realize, let me uppercut and knee this guy.
I'm going to have anyone against... I'm still going to have Alexei Olenek against anyone that doesn't have a formidable ground game. Like that we haven't seen, or any of these guys. If they were on the Contender Series, I will have Alexei Olenek against them.
Oh, I love that.
Unless it's been enough fights that the Contender Series doesn't show up anymore.
Right,
in
like
their
5 fights in.
Yeah, then that's, So I haven't seen... To me, we kind of laughed about it earlier. The bet of the night, how we do a no something, all something, it should have been no Contender Series. If you went no Contender Series fighter on this fight card, you would have done awesome. Because you wouldn't have picked Macy Barber, you wouldn't have picked O'Day, you wouldn't have picked... Or, because the one dude did beat...
Kamor.
Kamor,
Beat Ledette,
yeah,
so...
that would have been the only one. But get
Close.
Ledette out of there. Stop putting him in my even path. I don't want to pick Ledette ever again.
I agree. It's time if he doesn't move up to heavyweight.
Green versus Ledette.
But Ledette's a 205er.
Make him move up to 265.
He's the only guy where you're like, no, dude.
I'll pick
no.
Murray's
Because he can still looks like he's an 85er.
That'll be the fight he ruins for me.
Right. Then we go on to the most exciting fight of the night. This won a performance bonus or 2, did it not? In Holly Holm versus Raquel Pennington 2. The fight we didn't need to see. I mean, this killed any type of hype going into that main event. The crowd was booing nonstop. Raquel Pennington, who I thought was going to make the change from the first fight, did not at all. Holly
She
Holm
couldn't make the change from the first fight because she was just held up against the cage all day. We couldn't even see it.
But Raquel was complaining about that, and then I saw her in the 3rd round pummeling into the cage, and I'm like, what are you doing, Raquel? What are you doing? So the fact that
And then Holly
there was
just
times
turns her around.
every time.
Holds her back up against there. Holly looks stronger and older than ever before.
I was saying older than ever before, but at 38, I want to look like her. I'm just saying, right now, I want to look like Holly Holm. Unbelievable genetics that are going on over there.
Her body.
Unreal. 38 years old. I just couldn't get over the embeddeds on how John Jones has been laying it down so good. They're in the tough house, and all the jerseys are up, and Holly Holm's like, there's John, let me take a picture. He'll like that. I'll show him. Like, that's girlfriend shit. That's that girl. That's girl that does that she works out. She rolls with you. I'm just saying, there is going to be a book, an autobiography, and Holly Holm's going to be like...
It's going to be called 2 Abortions.
I didn't say it.
Boom! That was called a Brian Kelleher.
So...
Rocky Pennington, ain't my type, cute AF, didn't do shit.
Didn't do shit. And she had a belly. Is that just me?
She always looks sexy AF at the real weigh-ins, and then it's all her water weight must be right there in her little pouch. But I think ladies just get below their belly button. That's because a baby's supposed to go in there. So it's here's all this extra skin that nature gives you just in case you ever need to stretch out to the size of a beach ball and hold a human inside there.
Interesting. I know nothing of it, but...
There's a little lesson. Some ladies, though, they can have 18 kids and they're little AF, but they're little AF always their whole lives.
Right? Crazy. Absolutely. So both of these ladies definitely not going to be on that train at 38 for Holly Holm. And with that many steroids, Yeah, them raisins in there, they ain't
Her
no
dick's
worries.
shrunk. Boom! I
Then we move on to the main event of the evening, where we had
what a shit fight!
Conor
Sorry.
McGregor. It was garbage. That's why I was like,
It
all right, that was
so
the best.
bad.
The best we
That was
said
the
about
best
it.
part about
Yeah,
it is those two jokes.
yeah, for sure. So
Stupid.
then we have Conor McGregor. He's back. He's back for a hand-picked fight that we told you guys. There's no way you can pick Donald Cerrone in this. Talking about he wants to strike. He went in there, dodged the first punch, and then almost got kneed in the face. Then Donald Cerrone threw a kick. They interlocked. Shoulder strikes, which Conor McGregor invented. Did you know nobody's thrown a shoulder strike since, like John Jones when he started fighting, Nick Marquardt, freaking anyone who knows about shoulder pressure. So he did bust Cerrone's nose.
He did do different kind of shoulder strike than anyone before. If you ever look at any of the taller guys' shoulder strikes, they it's with their shoulder in the left half of their body, and they're kind of leaning into it. Conor actually jumps and gets air. If you watch him
Look at Gunny Nelson.
He jumps into them with his shoulder.
Gunny Nelson will do that on the cage as well, where he'll throw that shoulder when they're flattened up against the cage. But it's...
But I thought what happened, though, was Donald Cerrone ducks the first punch, and McGregor just comes in super hot. But even McGregor's right thigh gives Donald enough force that when they clinch up, there's no space between them. So then on the second one, he breaks his nose. Shoulder strike. Second one, he breaks his nose. And then he still does two more after that.
Right.
I think at that point, Donald's completely
wobbled,
discombobulated. And then he... roundhouse kicks him. He gets a head kick on Donald Cerrone, and then knee to the body, and then chews him to
ground
pieces.
ground and pound, which finishes it in there. I like to think, I can't take much away, but a lot of pro fighters since this have been saying yeah, I get hit with those shots every day in practice. It doesn't break my face. But as we were saying with Cowboy Cerrone, he just ate elbows 4 months ago, 6 months ago from Tony, and before that he got knocked out against Gaethje. It's just that face was already shattered.
Wasn't it just recent that we saw Donald Cerrone with one of those fucked up Mike Perry faces?
The eyeball.
No, before the eyeball. Didn't he do something? Somebody shattered his fucking nose, and it was all the way on the side. Was it Darren Till?
For Cerrone?
Yeah, he had one. I think it was Darren Till fight. That it was one of those things where it was damn, where he posted a picture, where Donald Cowboy posted a picture of it afterward on his Instagram and was like, "You fucked me up."
Wow.
It was one of those crazy, the doctor didn't let it go on. It kind of stopped really quickly afterwards. But that's kind of, I always say, once your nose is all fucked up, it changes the game. Yeah, it's a weak. You're of a glass nose, so you decide. Let me be Dan Henderson and not do anything to this fucker and let it just turn to rubber if I want to keep doing this. But once you get it fixed, you Misha Tate yourself.
Right.
You cannot get that shit fixed. You can't. Ronda Rousey even. I think that first strike from Amanda. Yeah, Amanda hits hard, but I think she had her face fixed.
Right. We've said it long and hard here. Cowboy saying he's still going to keep fighting. He's not going anywhere. The workup, the whole Conor McGregor is back. How did you feel about everything going in? I didn't like anything I was seeing from Cowboy. I thought there was a limp. I think he's only showing that he's getting older and older. I feel like I would
like to see a year off for Cowboy if he wants to talk about fighting again. He has a skill set enough that's awesome. I don't want to tell Donald. He seems still kind of capable in there. I do think he's set up different. I do think he might be able to take that time. I think in a weird way, Conor McGregor, as much as it was a hand-picked fight, I think he did respect Donald Cerrone and wanted to give him that kind of paycheck. I think when we first saw Donald's kid come into the octagon, that's when we first saw these fights, the Twitter talk between them happen. Mm-hmm. And so I do think that and the Budweiser and the proper but I do think there's something about it. Yeah, I think it was hand picked, but there's easier fights he could have picked. He could have picked Pettis.
I think this was a pretty easy fight, especially with the last two fights he had. I feel
People
like the
are
best.
saying it was fake, and I don't think Cowboy would ever do that.
I don't think Cowboy ever would as well. But this is not to say that I don't think there's fake fights, because if you listen to the show, there's hella fake fights. There's been UFC fighters caught in South Korea that faked fights that took money to take dives, so you can't say there isn't. But I don't think this one was, because Donald Cerrone will take an ass whooping for that amount of paycheck, and he's all about that. I feel like the lost opportunity in it all was at Weak Neck Baby throwing out, why don't they have both of the boys squaring off? Because that would have been a hell of a shot.
So Grandma Cerrone hug did nothing for you?
Not one bit.
And Conor in the post-fight presser being like, I like Donald. I didn't have ill will toward him. There was nothing to say. That was...
I like all of that, but it doesn't do anything for me. It ain't no Triple C top.
So what do you think, Conor? What do you think's next?
And he's got the cards in his hand.
What think's next?
Oh, so there's so many. They're saying it. Gaethje, he's waiting for Habib.
The only people I see saying Gaethje are like Luke Thomas over and over again, and maybe they keep trying to get Gaethje's name in it, but nowhere is his name in the real talks.
Everyone's saying Masvidal for the BMF belt. That's the one I've been seeing most people clamoring for, like over 50% are like...
I know Usman's trying to get his name in there.
But he has a broken hand.
Yeah, and it doesn't even make sense. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
I totally agree. So, what I loved where I heard, I can't think of who was saying it, but what I do see potentially happening here, because they're both 70-55ers, is the BMF belt turns into the 165 belt, and Conor goes for the BMF 65, and they create that division with that belt, and then eventually it just turns into the 65 belt.
I think it, in a weird way, it's like the BMF existing, and Conor will be like, I want that belt too, and he'll make sure he gets one. Then he becomes the weight division with the BMF. And then he has a belt to walk into against Khabib for a fight in Moscow.
So do you think the 165 is a good or not? Because I love that call.
I'm down with any of the weight classes, and it should have been done to begin with. Once Nate kind of called your bluff and you made a fucking belt for it, dude, you might as well just made the division. It literally makes no sense. There's enough fighters coming up, and if guys can meet at the middle, and then guess what else you'll see? Once Usman won't be fighting at 165 ever. That guy can't cut another pound, but there's it doesn't do anything to that division. Colby might be able to cut the extra, but I don't think he can either. There's a couple of guys that are big, huge dudes. You won't see Maya down there.
If you wanted to do it smart, I feel like you would turn the BMF into the 65, and you'd say, all right, now our welterweight is 75. We're also creating an 85. Or no, there already is an 85. And maybe you create that 95.
I know. I think totally too, but I dream. But I kind of think it's more fun keeping it the BMF. It takes it out of weight divisions. It just takes it out of whatever we agree on. It's like, whatever, I'll fight you at 200. You want to fight at 200? Fine. Like, I just think it makes it, like, I don't know. It just makes it interesting.
It makes it interesting.
Do you think, I know everybody's like, oh, Jorge will walk through Conor. I don't think so. I feel like Nate should show you that Jorge won't walk through Conor.
Oof. I think that it is a competitive matchup, but I do think Jorge's a lot bigger than even...
They both fought at 155.
And 70.
And 70.
Exactly.
It's all the same.
Yeah, it is.
And
I'd see it. I'd watch.
Bigger.
I'd pay to watch
Cowboy
it.
was bigger. I bet you that Jorge's smaller than Cowboy, like height-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm interested in it. You got me. But I'm excited Conor's back. I'm glad. I hope the allegations, they're totally still there. That's what it's like, the elephant in the room that we can all like avoid it.
How do you feel at the press conference, the guy asking, and Dana White and Donald Cerrone are like, he already answered those questions, leave him alone. Like, everybody in the room was like, boo, shut the fuck up. And the guy's like, your comment, and he's like, I'm not going to say anything else. That was weird.
I thought it was just
weird.
like, oh my gosh. What is this, your rape posse? No, like, he can speak for himself or be like, those allegations are up in Ireland and I didn't do any. He could proclaim your innocence. Do
Right.
something. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not allowed to speak about it. There's a trial going on Ireland. Okay, thank
Allegedly.
you. Allegedly. And the one last thing we can talk about. D. Devlin. Follow her on Instagram. She looks slain. I liked her bright green. She does seem to like that pattern. It makes me think that she has a clothing line, or Connor does for women, or she wears a... But you can find her in that green tie-dye pattern on other dresses in the past. But... I have a theory that fights that D's not at, Connor doesn't win. That's my theory. Look into it.
Ooh.
Someone prove me wrong if you can find it, but I think D was pregnant and missed like a couple of the fights in between, and I would be willing to say they were the fights he lost. So I think D. Devlin is the lucky charm for Conor McGregor.
Definitely a B minus level pay-per-view for me in my eyes as far as rating.
Because it was a pay-per-view, I gotta be real honest. That's a C pay-per-view.
I was going to say C, but then I had Ferreira, who I like.
Because we're not casuals. I love
But
Conor
the Holly Holm or Kel Pennington shot it down a whole grade.
and the Kelleher jumping on there at the end.
That made it good.
It was a good fight, but it wasn't
A
a pay-per-view.
pay-per-view.
It was a good fight night. So, yeah, I didn't think so overall. I am kind of... Whatever, UFC 246. I'm glad Connor's back. I want Cowboy to heal. I don't take anything else from that.
Agreed. It doesn't do nothing else for me.
Are we going to fly through the Twitterverse?
We are.
What do you have to say? I don't have anything. No, I guess there has been some stuff. Excuse me, I'll burp into the mic. Connor or Usman's calling like Gamebred journeyman, and like, oh, people think I'm ducking you and blah blah blah. And I don't think the BMF fight has anything to do with the 170 title. Get it out of your heads. Get it out of your heads, everyone. Just because they happen to pick this weight, to me, don't mean shit. To me, don't mean shit. So I see that going on. I don't know if there's been any other call-outs or any fights made.
There's been a few fights made. None that are absolutely outstanding. But there was, I feel like, one drop today where it was Shabazian versus Brunson.
Oh,
Derek
I like
Brunson.
that. I like that.
Yeah, that's actually a great
I'm gonna have my
matchup.
golden boy, my boyfriend.
Brunson just changed his game plan.
I don't care, Shabazian. I would say he has better boxing and just as good wrestling defense.
So we didn't talk about it much, I feel like, on the breakdown, even though it did fall out due to Chaz Skelly and Grant Dawson. That was officially rebooked for North Fork, Virginia, February 29th.
So apparently it wasn't an USADA thing.
I was hearing on the underground that it was Pico Grant Dawson getting it in there, popping for his second time for USADA. He could have popped, but with the new USADA Novinsky stuff that's going on,
such a small amount from something he.
They already have waves, or they already have waivers ready at hand to be like, look, we can test tainted supplements, and they don't keep them out for 2 years. They shorten it.
And it could be something that he already served his time for, but whatever commission they were in was like, no, you're going to have to get off this card. We'll wait and find out.
Right. Well, and Grant Dawson's an up-and-comer. If this was Boone Kelleher on his 2-fight losing streak, would they go to bat for
him? I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not on that 2-fight losing streak.
True. So that was an interesting thing in the
USADA
Twitter.
might as well be called whenever we wanna.
Exactly. You and your mama. Every time. Woo!
Is that all we have on the Twitterverse? I'm sure there's so much other stuff. I could easily go to the
Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest stuff. There's nothing that was, as far as MMA, that popped out and was grabbing me.
I'm pressing MMA/news and see what the first thing is. Conor McGregor's next fight in 2020, breaking down the options. That's what we just did for you.
Christiana Cyborg is going to fight in Bellator
What
soon.
we both will say, she already did this past weekend.
Really?
Yeah, she already fought it. I
Really?
think so. No, it's this
she's
weekend
about to.
with Aaron,
I was going to be like,
Aaron
no.
Pico on it. Aaron Pico. We didn't talk about Khabib because there's no need to yet, everyone. It's not happening yet.
You're gonna jinx it.
Well, you know why? Because Khabib's fighting Tony, you dumb fucks, and Khabib's not even gonna have that belt anymore.
Exactly.
Khabib can fight Conor for the BMF title later, but it won't be that 155. Yoel Romero Israel is official. Official fish.
Dana White talking about it being like, Adesanya wants it. He wants the hardest guy, and he's like, hey, I don't care who he fights. And Yoel Romero is apparently a pain in the ass to deal with as far as negotiations is concerned. So Dana White's like, he doesn't care. He'll get it done just to watch that fight.
It seems like it must be a slow week because every article is like, who should Conor pick next? 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 So I guess unless you have anything else to say, we can drop the business and get into the main card.
Drop it.
So make sure you're liking and subscribing everywhere. You can follow us at LATB_MMA on Twitter and on Instagram. And make sure you're following Emmanuel at Zoltanite. And make sure you're following me at Weakneck Baby. And that's where you will find all the goods, all the funny clips. It's how you can find the people from the Fight Pick Championship if you're like, oh, she was saying that one guy is always winning. And I'll be like, then you'll find out where to follow him because I ain't saying his name here. No, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about it as we get through it. But I do have to throw out that our boy Buddy slayed this week. He got a lot more points than everybody else, and then he might have gotten a perfect card or something.
Congratulations!
He got so much. So
he
Buddy
did well.
at MMA Marks, their podcast is pretty funny. If you want to listen to it, put MMA Marks in your Google, and also. World Winning Federation came in second.
Ugh.
And he's the guy first place in the Alpha, is first place in the whole tournament. So I'm going to be real honest with you, people. I made an Alpha card this week. I made a little money on it.
Wow.
I made a little money on it. Why wouldn't you follow the first people in the tournament and make cards like their picks if they're doing so well? So I used my televised card only, and I just made Alpha picks.
That sounds like insider trading to me. I don't think the public gets to see those cards.
Yeah, so I'm just telling you guys. That's World Winning Federation. He is winning the Fight Pick Championship right now. So those are the only people I'm going to shout out. Is the person who won this week and the person who's winning overall.
Wow.
That's it. That's all I have to say about those.
Good for them. You're a better person than I am. But you know what I'm here for. The breakdown. We're going to get into the 12 card bout. Raleigh, North Carolina is going to come in hot with the heavyweights. Junior Dos Santos coming in against Curtis Razor Blaydes. But that's a fight that we usually get to at the end. We always start from the bottom to the top. And it ain't going to change here with a dirty double disgusting debut in Nate Lander coming in against Gilbert Burns, younger brother, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt world class champion in there, 9-2, coming off of the Contender Series. I know how you like those guys. He ended up getting mainly submissions. There's been a couple knockouts over his career. I got to watch all of his fights. He is a young man who is definitely Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu incarnated. He does not have an offensive takedown to save his life. Doesn't have a single leg. He pulls on guard. He pulls people down. He gets hurt and rolls on ankles and hips and is able to submit a lot of guys that way. And once he's on top, his top ground game is really good, but literally the takedown at distance is not there for Herbert Burns. He pulls guard. So I really didn't like that. And his striking is not up to par. He knows what he likes to do and it's not stand up. He tries to get fights to the ground. And in this fight, it is a dirty double debut. It is gross as molasses, but this is a fun character. This is Mike Perry's cousin in there. Once you see the tapes, you're going to be like, I know why he's calling him Mike Perry's cousin in there. He is from Tennessee. The only 10 I see in there. Absolutely
is the ring card girl.
It is Nate in there. He was the underdog, now switched as the slight favorite, but it's because he's a madman in there. He throws strikes from everywhere, has been having a bit of a resurgence. He is 13-2, only lost 2 fights by submission, rear naked choke, and then guillotine. But there's many other fighters that have gone to the ground, and he's fighting in M1 Global against legitimate 8-1, 13-2 Russians and getting wins in there. What I like about him is his wrestling or his anti-wrestling. He's a madman striking with straight punches. He doesn't care about going to the ground because he will let a guy start to extend his leg and land punches and knock him out. He has that kind of weird power on the ground, almost Nico Price style.
So a shit takedown, you're telling me, is not good against this guy?
Not good at all. You can eat a hard uppercut. He does have good hands. Even though he's absolutely a wild man, he has power. And he relies on that, but he also has a gas tank. In his earlier fights that I watched, because I was able to catch about 10 of them, he didn't have a good gas tank. Now that he's been the champ in
I was
M1...
able to catch it like 1 or 10. 1, 2, or 10.
Out of his 13 fights, so kind of good.
Yeah, that's great.
But I've really seen his gas tank grow a lot and his strike acumen. Like, he's always been wild.
When you do tape study, do you watch from the beginning up, or do you like see how deep you like watch their most recent fight and see if you need to watch more?
I try to get their most recent fight, and then I'll work my way back and see how early I can get. And I don't know why, but I'll see big jumps because I'll be like, oh, he looked stiff as shit back then, and now this most recent one, he's throwing all sorts of stuff in there, sprawling well, but just having good scrambles. So this is a coin flip of a fight. It's been proven on the cards. We tell you guys to stay away, but I feel like you got to pick one of these guys because I don't feel like this goes out of the second round regardless. It's a submission or TKO finish. It's what you're going to go with first. I want Burns to win via submission, but you know that wrestling. If you don't have good wrestling, I always think you're handicapping yourself to an extent. But if Herbert Burns is rocked and still gets to the ground and gets to Nate's back, he can finish this fight. So it's Olenek Green. I went with Green last week. Gimme Nate Lander, the debuter. Slight favorite right now. A lot of people have been coming in on this wild man. I just like his style. He's going to get many fights. He's going to be Jason Knight-ish type of a character.
Oh,
how do you feel about this
I didn't like Jason Knight. But I really just, if somebody has a garbage takedown, we always see the second sibling is never, ever, ever as good. Ever as good. So I have Baby Burns written on the card. I was wondering what his name should be, if it'll stay Baby Burns.
It's the Blaze.
I know. I thought actually that was clever.
It is clever.
If he's horrible, I was thinking Burnt. Herbert Burnt. I don't know. We'll get into it. I'm going to stay away from the first fight of the night. As always, it seems to pay off in abundance on my DraftKings cards. I cannot tell you how happy I am with staying away from it. But I like everything you're saying about Landwehr, and I want him to get a nasty uppercut, maybe, like you were saying, or catch him on the takedown with a knee or something kooky. But why not? Knockout round 1. I got
knockout round 1. Nate Landwehr as well in there over the starting initial favorite in there in Burns. So it's going to be a crafty one. There's a lot of really interesting matchups throughout this night. And another profiled one at 135 pounds is going to be Brett Johns coming in against debuting Tony Gravely. Gravely coming in with a 19-5 fighter, American wrestler coming out of Virginia. So he's going to be the more local by far. Last winning his Contender Series debut against Ray Rodriguez, TKO ground and pound. I mean, I liked what I saw in tape from Gravely on the ground. He has good hips when guys shoot on him. He does have power. His strikes aren't that evolved, but he throws them well. He's definitely a guy who has a solid chin as well, but it's just been a lack of competition. Again, his highest level is a Contender Series fight in here. And yes, he did well, but looking back at Ray Rodriguez, he didn't look like he was going to make a big splash at all in there. I really like the hips for Gravely, as I was saying, on top. He really, when he goes to any scrambles, he ends up on top of a lot of guys, and that's where he gets a lot of ground and pound finishes. He's just very educated in using his wrestling as a very smothering option. But against Brett the Pikey Johnson here, a 15-2 fighter, only losing in the UFC, had a ton of hype, having his first 2-fight losing streak to Aljamain Sterling and Pedro Munoz decision. Those don't look so bad the more and more we look at them.
No.
But the Pikey's gone in here and shown us that he has some high level grappling, calf slicering, some mofos in there. Did he get Soto in that? Hawk in decision. He showed us some good striking as well. When he's hitting that next level, when he's hitting those top 10 guys, I do see Johns being a little bit young at 27 still, but I do like his growth. He has been training more stateside. I believe he was at Top Team or somewhere in the Florida region. It's not put up here. But either way, Johns has been showing a progression in his game. I think that the best option for Gravely here is to try to out-wrestle and win fights via ground and pound. But against Johns, even off of his back, he throws up so many triangles and is so crafty. I feel like eventually it's Gravely getting caught in a submission. Give me Johns submission round number 2. I think he gets a beat on him. Could even move it up to round number 1. Because when Johns is on your back, I think a lot of even American wrestlers have overestimated how good of grappling he is because he comes from Europe. And Johns is actually legitimately sound everywhere. I like him. Give me a submission round number 2. Who do you have in this fight?
I've never bet against Brett Johns. Is that a weird one?
No, not at all.
I've never bet against Brett Johns, and now looking at it, and maybe it's one of the reasons that I love both the fighters so much afterward. Like Pedro Munoz, I was on him for a super long time, and look what he went to do. I think after this fight, he KO'd Cody.
Yeah.
But also Aljamain. I think Aljamain has the highest probability of getting to that belt. He's the most well-rounded fighter in the entire division. And this fight really let me know that. I always knew Aljamain was good everywhere, but he just looked crisp. I mean, anyone who would have got caught by...
that knee?
It was gnarly, and you know what it did? It sent them off on the wrong trajectories than they should have been. What's his face? Moraes should have been on a little slower, and Aljamain should have been fighting for titles next. It just was one of those weird...
Why we love the sport?
I know, I love it. But I love Brett Johns. The other guy looks like he's built to burn out, and Brett Johns has cardio for days. He is sneaky. He hit the submission by the end of round 2. I wanted to go round 3, but I liked everything you said. And he is just that much more experience against guys that are just murderers. So give me on a full camp, I think, too, is this for Brett Johns?
I believe this is. I believe they both had over 8 weeks.
So I like that for him. Give me John's submission. I like what you're saying. I like round 2. I think experience will pay off. I'm going to move it to round 3. I think experience will pay off, but I think that's a good...
The debut fighter, Tony Gravely, is the even near or slight favorite, minus 130, 8,200 on DraftKings against Brett Johns, 8,000 even, plus 100. Interesting for this debut.
You know what? Brett Johns isn't he doesn't get finished. He eats shots, too. Look back at all his fights. He eats shots.
He does.
I'm kind of not worried about that.
And Gravely is a wrestler, so I feel like people are putting a lot, which is rightfully so, but 5-fight veteran in the UFC, undefeated up until the UFC against the guy who's lost on the regional scene? It's just weird to me, but young man's coming into his own. The tape wasn't bad on Gravely. It's really weird that it's this close of a line.
I think people look at win-loss records and they just make quick picks.
Right.
I think once people start digging into this line could change completely by fight time.
A lot more the other way?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I agree. I'm liking Johns in there a lot. The more and more I see these lines. 8-2, are you going to put Gravely anywhere?
No, I won't. I'll speckle Brett Johns. I tend to bet harder the deeper the fight gets into the night.
Oh, okay.
I wish I could wash the first 3 fights of the night off my pick records.
You don't even want to show them up on your DraftKings.
I know.
I think I'm going to be playing probably in that 20% of Brett Johns. Gravely, not this time.
I'm excited about this next fight.
you're the only person. You are it. Because
I'm excited about it.
at 135 pounds,
The return of
Sarah McMahon coming in against Lena Landsberg. Oh, McMahon. She got to fight outside of the UFC for a little bit. They're not showing up on a record. Interesting.
Did she? I thought she just did a grappling tournament or something.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's where I was thinking, because I was like, I swear I just saw her doing out some other competitive sport, but she didn't fight at Bellator for like 2 fights and then came back. That could have been also like 10 years ago, because Sarah McMahon has been fighting for like 80 years already. The 11-5 fighters coming off of a 2-fight losing streak. The Olympian wrestler has always come in with mega strength. Joe Rogan has notoriously been quoted for saying, huh, "You feel like a man." Yeah, when McMahon is in your name, buddy. When steroids, that means in your blood. Sorry, I didn't mean to get that confused. So, McMahon, though, notoriously...
Did she win a medal?
No, I don't think she did, but she still went. I think she's... Which is... Top athlete,
Yeah.
top athlete in there. But she's definitely somebody for me that I've wanted to get behind, especially with all her wrestling accolades. But she has low fight IQ, bad striking, and she rarely uses her wrestling. When she does, she tends to win fights in decisions. So she's super low output with just bad picking of combinations. She never seems like she has range in there. And then quits at times. There's just times where she's just like, I was spending there, guys. And when you see her body mass, you're like, yeah, of course, that muscle's meant to burn out. And against Lena Landsberg, coming in with a 10-4 record, she has really proven herself as of late, beating Macy Chiasson as a big underdog. We were just talking about that. And Tanya Evinger 7 months ago. Landsberg is definitely showing her striking credentials, kickboxing, keeping these fights where she wants to. The elbow queen does throw them out of the clinch well. In the clinch is actually her best option. That's where she kept Chiasson the whole fight, was pretty much in that clinch and then on the ground on top throwing punches. And in this fight, I feel like this really plays for Lena Landsberg. I feel like if those takedowns don't come, or if Lena keeps getting up, McMahon does well. McMahon will start to shoot one singular shot, and then if that doesn't work, she doesn't use her chain wrestling, or she gets rolled over and just rolled through. It's just been a constant fade for me with McMahon for a long time. I've never been sound on her, and especially after beating Chiasson, who we were both liking a lot. Lena's been proving herself. I have a soft spot in my heart for Tanya Evinger as well. So give me the elbow queen as the plus 125 underdog. I think she keeps his standing and wins a decision. If not, TKO round number 3. I'm going to go decision because this is a WMMA fight.
I kind of like that idea. I'm excited to see Sarah McMahon back. I'd love her to have some sort of new game plan. She does decide at the end to just get submitted. It's like they can't finish her, and she just kind of gives up. And maybe because she is wilted, I'd like to hope that maybe she worked on her cardio while she was gone. She does tend to take a crazy amount of time off before her fights. It makes me wonder if she's like fights, budgets, and only does it because she has to.
You saw it.
Maybe. If that's the case, I just think Lena Landsberg she impresses me every time she goes in. I never pick against her. Red flag. Because I might be about to. But she also has the opposite face. She doesn't look like her face has gotten fixed after every fight. She looks a little more worn. But her skills are getting a little... She's kind of like... for the 135, she is kind of like a Roxy, where it's like, oh, you don't notice the person that's getting better slowly in the background while all these other people are doing a crazy spinning elbow or knocking somebody out fast. Here's Lena grinding decisions, losses, grinding decision wins, working her way up. And now I think she has a good enough takedown defense to keep Sarah McMahon and stay on her feet. I think the game's progressed a lot, especially in the women's division, and Lena is always in there. She's not scared to get bloody. She'll take a couple nasty punches to the face, bust her nose all up, and still keep coming forward. She kind of impresses me every time. I like everything you're saying. Landsberg decision. I wish Sarah McMahon well. I do like that we're seeing both these ladies. Sarah McMahon's almost 40, Lena Landsberg's 37, and I think we just saw Marion Renault beat Sarah McMahon at 41.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Sarah McMahon's a young fighter in the division. We'll see how this one goes, but right now I'm going to stick with Lena Landsberg. I don't know how heavily I'll put it, but I could see your finish happening. Because our girl is a quitter, but Lena's not going to try to submit her. So what is she just going to stay there and keep taking punches?
She lands elbows about she's on top. But on DraftKings, the minus 150 favorite Sarah McMahon is 8,400 coming in against Lena Landsberg's plus 125, 7,800. It's another underdog. I don't know if I can play it because if it goes to decision, I'm going to go 10% because there is an option for the finish, but it's very rare. I think it's more than likely to go to decision, but I do like those odds going in.
She does have
Landsberg.
a ground game, and it's been a while, but I got to think Lena Landsberg, she knows. She knows.
For this average, McMahon averages 54 points on DraftKings compared to Landsberg's 44 points. No, you stay away from that fight as far as DraftKings then, right?
Yeah. I think the women's 135 might be a lot of the Holly Holm Pennington looking stuff without Amanda fighting.
Oh, I hope not. I hope not. That's not good news.
No, it's not. It's sad. The champion will be like one person.
GDR. So.
Well, you will be happy to know that GSP has Sarah McMahon handpicked in this fight.
There it is. Then we move on to a slightly funner fight at 135 pounds bantamweight. We have Montel Jackson.
This is how he does it.
Coming in against Felipe Corrales. Kakobara, or Kokobara, whatever the hell your name is. 9-1 fighter, losing his debut against Freitas. Cobrana?
Kayo.
Corrales winning one, losing one in the UFC, losing to De Freitas, and then came in against my boy Peralta. You know how big I was hyping up Peralta off of that Contender Series, which would have been my first cue to probably not pick him, but he ended up outgrinding Peralta, landing strikes with him, taking him down. I went back and watched that fight because I really like Peralta, and De Freitas won that fight on the ground. He is a black belt and showed that he can submit people, but he also has as good a defense. His striking's really coming along, but those takedowns, he did get better after his first fight, and he really showed him against the wrestler in Peralta. So, not an easy fight for anybody. I think Corrales there is going to be somebody that is going to be a sneaky option for a lot of people. But Montel Jackson here has been showing out at 8-1, only losing in the UFC to Ricky Simone. It was controversial, to say the least. He has the record for the biggest hands in the UFC, is it? The biggest gloves in his weight size? Yeah, they'll say it on this one, I guarantee it. Those guys will talk about it. But then he got a win over Brian Kelleher's submission, and as of late, Sokhamthath in a decision. But Jackson shows great takedown defense on the ground. He's shown us Darce is another good submission. Striking, it's just been power. I just feel like, as we just saw with Macy Barber, he's a huge favorite here, and we got to give respect where it's due. Corrales can put together a good game plan here and not just get dropped. He has a chin on him. He got hit by Peralta and De Freitas, and he didn't go down. He ate those shots and got right in their face and really put the pressure on him, and we haven't seen anybody really try that against Jackson. He's really usually able to dictate a lot of that distance, and on the ground, he's been able to keep it where he wants to, up striking. If this gets to the ground, Corrales has a big advantage, I feel like. I think it's too big of a favorite to be that confident in Jackson. I do have him, but I think it's blown up.
I feel like Montel Jackson kind of has shit takedown defense. That's why Ricky Simone got what points he did, is he just got him down every time he wanted to at whim. At whim.
Freitas is good on the ground, and he has good takedowns. So, too big of a favorite. 6-1, way too much. I'd probably be like minus 185 is where I think I'd be all right with Montel Jackson. So I think this is a decision fight. I think Jackson takes it, but I'm going to probably have a couple shots on Freitas on here, or Felipe Corrales on here, because I think that he's a dark horse in the night that can...
You think he should be undefeated in the UFC as well? These guys should be maybe both undefeated in the UFC.
Maybe, but Jackson's... It's the hype. Macy Barber scared me. She got me shook. So I need to back off.
It happens a lot. Anytime we see people get too excited about anything, it's the Ronda Rousey
She
syndrome.
aced on Landsberg. That was like a minus 800 something stupid.
There's no sure thing in MMA.
Not at all. So this is one where definitely gonna be super hesitant on when it comes to betting it specifically. Give me a decision.
Aljamain Sterling and Marlon Moraes.
Exactly.
It wasn't a heavy favor, but anything could happen. That's all I meant. I'm going to go with Jackson's decision. I like what you're saying, though, about Felipe Corrales. I just really love everything Montel Jackson's doing in there, and I think he is on the trajectory to good things. I think the line might be off, but he should still be the favorite. He's not really a finisher. Give me Jackson's decision.
Jackson is going to end up being the minus 650 favorite, 9,400 on DraftKings. The biggest favorite of the entire night coming in against Felipe Corrales is 6,800 on DraftKings, plus 425. Underdog. I'm going to take some shots on the young guy. I mean, it's just the odds are way too off on this, especially of what we've seen of late. He can eat some hard shots and make a fight dirty for anybody in there. So hesitant. I'm going to probably be playing like 10% of this. Because Jackson at 8-4, do you think he gets the finish? No, I got decision.
No, I never have him.
So I'm not having.
Finish.
So I'm having decision Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Corrales or nothing on DraftKings. There is gonna be my play 10%. Then we move on to 125 pounds where we have
your girl
Justine Kish coming in against Lucy Pudilova, also known as Puddle of Love out there. You know we love our girl.
What's the actor from Zombieland? Not Woody Harrelson, the other guy.
No,
he also...
Isn't he Mike Chiesa? No. Matt Chiesa? No. Who is it?
No, but I don't know.
Sarah?
No, but he also is in that Facebook movie with Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
He's the guy that plays. I think he looks just like Justin Quiche.
Oh, I could see that.
It's so
she could be the stunt double.
Insane. Like, it kind of freaks me out. He looks like her with a wig on. I'm going to find what his name is so people can look it up.
So, in this fight, we have two veterans coming in, 8-5. Lucy Pudilova coming in with a 3-fight losing streak, last losing to a split decision, Irene Aldana. Liz Carmouche in a decision, and being submitted by Antonina Shevchenko. The Czech Republic fighter is
Jesse
25 years old. Eisenberg, that bastard.
I know, but I'm going to see if I can blow it up big and show you guys. Let's see.
What Eisenberg looks like in here.
Look.
It's their nose. Their noses and lips.
Sorry.
Eisenberg.
Oh, sorry, that got
So, with Pudilova in here, she likes to get it to the ground. If she can, striking-wise, she's also serviceable. But there's nothing. She has no power. She's more of a volume fighter. She won't get submitted, but she doesn't really help herself. She's not really active on her back. She'll throw punches off of her back, and it works at times. Justine Kish being 6-2, only losing in the UFC. Last losing a split decision to Kim, and as of late, a split decision to Kim. Before that, a decision to Yoder. She did beat Nina Asneroff in a huge decision where she outstruck her for a ton of points in there. Kish tends to keep it striking. Her takedown defense has gotten a lot better.
Nina.
It was, but yeah, it was definitely before she came into her stride.
It was so long ago that Ben Askren's kid wasn't even fighting. Macy Barber wasn't even the future yet.
So Kish in there, that split decision against Kim, I think was in China. So you got to take that with a grain of salt in there. But I feel like I'm really surprised that the line's really gotten to where it's at, minus 160 for Pudilova. I feel like Pudilova is the worst striker. She can't get it to the ground. I don't think she'll be able to get it to the ground. And if she does quiche, if she doesn't just back up, she should be able to outpoint this. I don't know if I see a finish necessarily in this fight, but I don't see how either fighter could be a decided favorite by any means whatsoever. At the bare minimum, a coin flip, but give me quiche here. I feel like she keeps it where she wants, striking and just kind of kios her to death, lands 100 strikes. Nothing's going to really hurt her, and Pudlova's just going to kind of be a punching bag in there. I'm going to probably end up stacking up on this one a little bit more for quiche just because of your amount of volume that she does throw in this, and especially at her price tag when it comes to DraftKings. Because I got a decision quiche here. Who are you going to pick?
Right now, I have Pudilova decision, and her losses are against 3 women that are top-notch to me in the division. I like Aureen Aldana a ton going forward. I love Liz Carmouche, even though she's not in the UFC any longer. I think she's super talented. And Antonia Shevchenko, we've seen her turn on a different game plan and become another level fighter. Like maybe the nerves are gone. But Justine Quiche, it's just been a little bit, and it's not, her losses to me are not as impressive as Pudilova's losses. And I just like that Pudilova's staying active. The thing I want to give Justine Quiche is I want to be like, oh, she's Russian. Should give it to the Russian. But I'm going to go with Pudilova decision.
Minus 160 favorite for Pudilova, 8,700 on DraftKings against Justine Quiche is plus 130, 7,500.
But I don't think you're off base at all, and I could see myself switching on that fight. I want to see Justine Quiche at weigh-ins, and maybe she's just one of those fighters that fights once a year.
So it's been a year, 10 months since she's last fought, so that's 11 months. So that's why it's been a little bit of a while for the 31-year-old against 25 years old last 5 months. But I can't put Pudilova anywhere for 8,600 at an average of 49
you're
points.
So smart. Quiche is the better play. It's dogger pass.
Definitely a dogger pass. 7,500 for an average of 65 points. I think she can get right around that cap and allow you to get some of those higher priced guys, which I'm not really liking so far.
If she loses, it's a decision only. And
right?
Look at her last bit on DraftKings are in that average, and she's still getting 65 points. So not bad.
Yeah, I think it's definitely quiche all the way. Give me that quiche. So, moving on to a short notice replacement. We have Arnold Allen coming in versus Nick Lentz. Nick Lentz being the short notice replacement here against
this is a fucking great
Nirmani, I believe. I could be off on there. Either way, it doesn't matter by this point. We got the Carney coming in here. Last losing 8 months ago. Ground and pound TKO to Charles Oliveira. Before that, he had a 2-fight winning streak against Hot Sauce Holtzman where he put it on a showing. And Gray Maynard knocking him out in there. Nick Lentz, since he's left American Top Team, his striking has come along leaps and bounds. He's always been ultra dirty on the ground. Nick Lentz has always been sneakily had guillotines and all sorts of stuff on the ground. Oliveira has finally started to come into his own as well. And Allen is getting a humongous step up here. He has been fighting some fun caliber competition in the UFC with Rinaldi and having nothing but a winning streak in there. His last fight being Gilbert Melendez 6 months ago. Doesn't really look that good. When we talk about most fights and we're like, oh, that's a loss, that doesn't look so bad all of a sudden. This is a fight where you're like, oh, that doesn't look so good. How did he just decision Gil Melendez? Should have been able to do what he wanted in there with him. But prior to that,
I don't know. I like Gil. I think Gil's rough and stuff.
I feel like Gil's washed up.
A lot of guys.
Oh, really? Yeah. I think in Bellator, Gil get beat up.
Maybe at against this point, top brass. I still think he's a top 15 dude.
No
top
way.
20 dude.
Nope. I will bet against Gil anybody in the top 25.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I'm being biased there. So either way, the 15-1 Allen, good striking, good gas tank, is at TriStar hanging out with Nasrat Kasper as GSP, getting that mustache going heavy.
Gil Melendez? You know who I was thinking of? Gilbert Burns.
Oh, give me Gilbert Burns in every single one of those fights.
What are you talking about? He's a top 10 guy. Like, I love Gilbert, but you are so right about Gilbert.
Okay, thank you.
You are so right. I was like, what? I thought I sat here in my head and I'm like, we love Gilbert Melendez. Oh shit, I'm thinking of Gilbert Burns. Because we were talking about him earlier with Baby Burns. Yeah, there is such a difference. I would never pick Gilbert Melendez ever again. He should not be in the UFC. He is not even in a top. He shouldn't even be in Bellator.
Bellator fighters would beat him.
I would pick Dana White contender series fighters against them. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. What the? They're like, this bitch never picks Gilbert. She hates Gilbert Burns or Gilbert Melendez. Sorry.
So, back to Allen. All around good fighter, a little bit of power, has some submissions. One of his marquee is that ninja choke against Matt Bursnell. It's one of the things that he does well. Does Allen against the cage specifically? He dives for that ninja choke. He dives for those triangles around the neck, but the Carney is the Carney for a reason. He knows those type of tricks. He's a veteran for a reason. It's hard to get him done with some of those sneakier things, especially if the Carney watches tape, which he does. He's a longtime veteran, the 35-year-old in here. His cardio has been a little bit suspect, but I feel like even though it was Oliveira, I feel like Oliveira is taking a big step up, and I think if Oliveira were to face Allen, I think Oliveira would also eat him up. So I feel like the Carney actually wins this on the ground via submission. I had Allen decision, thinking he can keep it where he wants to, but Allen does gas. In every fight, even his wins, he's tired. He's looking more muscular and better than he ever has, but that's where the Carney comes out strong in the third round. The Carney gets after it in that third round if he's not beat up too much. I'm switching to the Carney decision, Nick Lentz. I did have submission. I think if it does happen, it's in that third round, but I think it's because of the gas tank. Give me it's not American Top Team anymore. He's up somewhere else, but give me the Carney as another underdog. What am I doing to myself?
245 underdog.
That's a huge underdog.
That's insane. 270 favorite for Arnold Allen. That's insane. Do your research. Everybody do your research. Nick Lentz's losses are way bigger. I think Charles Oliveira, I think Charles Oliveira is heading places, and he actually has a huge fight against Kevin Lee that I should have talked about in the Twitterverse talk coming up that's official, which I think is a weird fight for Kevin Lee to take. Like, that's a slayer in the division. And what I've noticed is these wrestlers can't get off on Charles Oliveira. Like, he's so slick with the way he can grab up your neck and things like that. It's different than other jiu-jitsu guys. He like gets under their throat with his knuckles.
But his striking is ultra gnarly.
And his striking has had the opportunity in the last 3 years to get so good because of how good his ground game was. He could work on other shit. And so I agree with you. Charles Oliveira schools Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen is a guy that I keep wanting to show up. I don't think I've ever picked against him, and it's been good for me. But I don't know if I've ever picked against the Carney either. So with Arnold Allen, I picked Americani, which was a really good fight, a really good decision victory. That's the only time I've ever gone against Arnold Allen. Nick Lentz, shit, man. If somebody's going to do it dirty, it's going to be Nick Lentz. I think his wrestling's grimier. I do think he'll take it a short notice fight, but Arnold Allen doesn't have the KO power. It's wrestler against wrestler. I think when it comes to who has the better cardio, if it's just going to be a grind fest up until the third, I give it to Nick Lentz all day. Arnold Allen might have crisper striking, but I give Nick Lentz the power and more variation of strikes. So I think this is a dangerous fight on short notice for Arnold Allen. I can't believe more people don't see it. I love your Nick Lentz decision. I, too, am going to pick the Carney. Give it to me.
It is going to be minus 300 for Arnold Allen, 9,200 on DraftKings against the Carney. Lentz
if this
plus
is a close
250.
decision, the crowd will give it to Arnold Allen. I think the UFC has a vested interest in keeping any of those UK guys like some hot prospect.
Right. Right.
And
I
the
agree
Carney,
with that.
they're just like, yeah, the Carney.
Whatever.
Another Floridian. There's 10 more where he came from.
Go back to your sideshow. But the Carney lends 7,000 on DraftKings. Even, we've been picking a lot of underdogs. Most of those other ones I've been telling you to stay away from because their averages are usually pretty low as far as DraftKings picks, and that's what it looks like. But here, I feel like the Carney is a hot play at an average of 71 points to the average 70 points of Allen. So, a lot of value in Lentz here. His striking, as you were saying, he is more varied, but I've liked it as of late. Against Oliveira, it's not going to look good.
By far.
But Allen, it's going to look hot.
The hardest fight Arnold Allen's ever had.
By
far.
Leaps and bounds.
And it's harder than the fight he did have at this. I did have Arnold Allen. Who was he going against?
Narimani, I feel like it was.
Yeah,
Narimani.
I did have Arnold Allen in the fight.
Right, I agree with that.
But I just think Nick Lentz is one of those guys, especially on a short notice, I feel like that's a perfect Nick Lentz fight.
Yes, he comes in just being an intangible, just being a random.
And his last fight was against Charles Oliveira. I think 2 on short notice. It was at 155.
For Oliveira?
Yeah, that was a 155 fight. I
see.
think he just was like, sure, give me a fight. Yeah, UFC, I'll fight. Sure, I can do it. So, if he's getting in shape now, hopefully it's fine.
So, Lentz definitely going to go 20 to 30%. I'm going to be going heavy, maybe even 40% on Lentz. I like him a lot in this spot for that kind of price tag. Then we move on to the headlining, a preliminary fight card of the night in Bevan Lewis.
Is this the Fight Pick Championship?
No, this is
the prelim.
The prelim headliner.
Okay.
With Bevan Lewis coming in against Dequan Townshed. Townshed coming in with a 21-9. Townsend in here is coming off of a loss on short notice when he fought Dachlia Lakiambula and got finished. He actually had a bit of a suspension in between there as well, popping for cocaine in that fight. Woo! He was only... what was it? I think it was like a week's notice, maybe 8 days notice. So he didn't have enough time to get it out of his system. So on his pre-fight check, UFC gave him a pass.
Damn.
They're like,
God damn.
You got knocked out like we wanted to. Okay, we'll give you another fight and we won't, whatever. But with Townsend in here, he's a striker who's moved up in weight, but he didn't move up by muscle. I talked about it a lot, and even the other time, he's just kind of flabby, doesn't look in shape. He'll wrestle at times, but he's really wild on the ground, and not in a good way. Just kind of gets himself into weird positions. He has strikes, but he keeps his hands really, really low, and his gas tank's really bad. He just kind of tries to sway out of punches and can't even do that as well. He's definitely looks like an old fighter at 33. Against Bevan Lewis, 28 years old, 6-2, only losing in the UFC to Uriah Hall in a big underdog upset. And as of late, Darren Stewart, where your boy here, Emmanuel, ended up going with the Dentist Stewart, telling you guys, hey, this is a bit tougher of a fight, but stylistically, this is such a different comparison where the Dentist actually has skills. I feel like Townsend has none of that. He just maybe knockout power at the very least, and he can stay in there. But after midway through the second round, Townsend has no gas tank left, and that's been his entire career. I don't expect it to change here. I feel like he just looks like he has a low work ethic and just kind of had the right fights at the right time. Had an option to come in the UFC because it was 8-day notice, but this is his last fight. They're like, all right, Bevan's lost 2 fights. Let's give him a knockout finish, and then we can, start that train again.
I thought Daquan was that one guy, though, that he fought anywhere and just took it on short notice at a heavier weight class than he normally fights. So this is like the first fight at his real weight class?
I've watched him fight at 170. And
shit,
he didn't.
matter.
Yeah. He didn't look muscular.
He's no Carney.
He moved up to 85, and it wasn't muscle.
Okay.
So he hasn't done it. He hasn't done the work.
I just like the experience. I like what you're saying about Bevan Lewis. Do you think it's a finish or a decision?
I think it's... at first I had a decision, but I think it's going to be a knockout round number 2. It's the gas tank of Townsend. I feel like he's going to say that he fought in the UFC, and he'll tell people at the bar stool I fought in the UFC. He'll probably get in some bar fights, probably get into bare knuckles after this, but I think this is UFC career. on the line. Do you think you're going to be playing heavy? I got TKO round number 2. Bevan Lewis, huge favorite, minus 400, 9,300.
I got Bevan Lewis decision, but I'm okay with even still playing him on that. I think he's going to lay enough points, and I'm kind of hoping Daquan stays a punching bag and lets him do work.
Rack up points?
Yeah.
I would hope so. That would be the best case scenario in there. Bevan Lewis also having issues with the gas tank as well. I got to be honest here.
I know. I think by halfway through the second round, they'll just be hanging out in the corner like an old boxing
Does this
match.
turn into a Raquel Pennington freaking Ollie Holm?
Exactly. Look he's at Jackson Wink.
Oh,
That's exactly what it turns into.
Look, out Bevan Lewis, they said, oh, you're the next, who is it? John Jones. Weren't we talking about that earlier on the episode?
Oh, yeah.
Every time they're like, you're the next whatever. You're
Knockout.
Never. It just doesn't work that way. So 9-3 for Bevan Lewis on DraftKings.
Everybody
9,300.
loves the knockout pick, though, it looks like on Tabology.
Yeah, everybody does. Against Townsend, 6,900 plus 300 underdog. I can't put Townsend everywhere. If anything, I'm going to go 10 to 20% on Bevan Lewis just because I'm fading Townsend. I'm fading Daquan here. He's just not
I like
UFC
that.
caliber.
I like Bevan Lewis. I want him to have a little shot here. It does seem like it's been long enough time, but I liked everything he did in the Darren Stewart fight. I too was with you, but I was probably with you on that fight because you sold me on that fight on air. So I'm going to trust that you got your marker on Bevan Lewis. So I'm just going to stick decision though, because I do think Daquan's going to be a punching bag, and Bevan Lewis does get so tired.
They both do. Whew, that's an interesting one to get us into the Fight Pick Championship. This is definitely for all the marbles. We're playing for keeps out here. It's been getting hot and heavy as of late. We're staying up in the top of the Fight Pick Championships, but it's hard. It's hard. It ain't easy being at the top all the time.
It just seems like it's everything. All the numbers are getting closer and closer and closer. It's making me sweat.
It is.
Making me sweat.
Definitely causing us to get...
Oh, I'm so scared to
Stay up
even
at
look
night.
at these fights that we have to pick for the Fight Pick Championship. Every week it's so scary. And it's almost like when you get the first fight right, you're like, okay, I didn't shit the bed. If the first fight's a hot 25, you're like, I probably finished in the middle. You're like, I'm probably good for the night. And then anything else you stack on. The worst is when, I don't even want to say it. I'm not even going to put bad stuff on it. Yeah,
So we usually talk about arenas, judging.
If you don't know what the Fight Pick Championship is, this is tournament we do with a bunch of other awesome podcasts and Discord and Twitch people. And so you need to make sure you get in on that. Anyways, go on. I don't know if we explained it this year.
So, are you worried about the judges in Raleigh? Are you worried about hometown advantage?
Raleigh-Durham is
North
Carolina.
Correct.
Okay. Which is supposed to be one of the coolest cities in the country. Like one of those little hidden gems. I just said it. I ruined it. I turned it into New Portland.
You're welcome.
I just ruined it. No, but I'm going to say these are good, honest American judges. I am not worried about judges here. And I definitely think a guy like Dos Santos is, I consider him as American as Blaydes.
To an extent, sure. Sure.
He's doing the
definitely-
damn thing.
That he is. He was on the Brazilian Dancing with the Stars, though. Was it Dancing with the Stars Brazil?
Oh my gosh, don't remind me of that. I'm totally going with Blaydes now.
So we start off the Fight Big Championship and the main card with Jamal Hill, the debuter, coming in against Draco Stocic. Stocic coming in with a 13-3 record, losing twice in the UFC. His debut, winning once in the UFC, losing twice, beating Kimball, but then losing to Devin Clark. Remember that name. Devin Clark that he lost to.
That was the horse's name from the Mr. Hands video.
And now you know.
Don't look that up. I never have because I feel like it would scar me for life, but I know what it's about. But that was really just a statement about biggest thighs in the UFC.
Absolutely. Devin Clark is a monster.
I saw those in person from the bathroom while the fight was going on. I was so far away, and all I could see was how big his
thighs are. Just humongous in there is Devin Clark. And then Kennedy Nzechukwu in there, the prospect who got beat by Paul Craig as well. Definitely got it done in the decision 5 months ago. The biggest claim to fame for Draco is he's the training partner of Mirko Krokop. He is Serbian but trains over there with all the Croatians and tends to be a banger. He brawls a little bit. Gas tank isn't that good.
Garby.
He has good shot selections. He doesn't throw many kicks. He tends to box more than anything. His wrestling isn't all that good. But I mean, if Devin Clark has a better gas tank and wrestling than you, I'm scared for anybody in there. But in this stylistic matchup against Jamal Hill, it's really beneficial for Stocic here. Hill doesn't really shoot takedowns. He likes to keep it standing in there. He's a perfect 6-0, having a few decisions, but it's against a lot of regional guys. He's got a couple TKOs on the Contender Series, getting a elbow from Mount in a ultra gassed fight against his opponent there 5 months ago. He did also beat Townsend in a decision that was Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm. It was a freaking
bloodbath.
Absolutely brutal to watch in there. Hill gasses after that second round as well, where he keeps his hands low from the beginning. When he does hurt you, he knows how to kill, but if he doesn't get you out of there and he has to go to decision, he blows his load. So this is one of the hardest fucking fights to pick on the entire card, let alone Fight Pick Championship. Like, you can't be confident in either one of these guys, and for all the worst reasons. They're just not UFC. They shouldn't be in this spot. With that, I feel like Stocic can eat a hard shot, and when Hill wears himself out, Stocic has a bit more experience going to decision, and he's going to be able to eke one out. I'm not confident in this. I hate that I have to pick it on my Fight Big Championships, but I got to. Give me the big underdog. It's been my theme all night. Give me the underdog. Another one. You're welcome. Draco Stocic as a decision.
Are you so rattled by how bad your picks were last week? You're just like, fuck it, I'm picking all underdogs. It never happened to you before. It rattled your cage. You need to go run your birds.
Unreal.
Oh my gosh. I want to go with everything that you're saying because of just experience inside the UFC octagon. But Stocic, if you look at every single thing that he's done in there, it's against a bunch of cans. Like, there's not anything that, and even Devin Clark, like, we always say he's not UFC caliber, in which case he lost to Devin Clark. And then the guys he won, I'm not even sure the other record existed before he got to the UFC. I'm going to go with Jamal Hill just because, why not? Like, why not give it to a new guy? Stocic is going to do absolutely nothing with this experience in the UFC. He's not getting better any fight. His gas tank isn't getting any better. His skill set doesn't seem to be expanding. So give me Jamal Hill. I'm going to go with a boring old decision. I think no one thinks it's going to go to decision, but I think he's just going to beat on Stocic. Unless it gets called by like him landing enough strikes in a row.
I got a decision, Draco Stocic.
Huh?
That's what I'm saying. I got the underdog, but I got a decision as well. But it's because they both can't lift their arms because they're so gassed.
Well, against Serbia, North Carolina hates Serbians. No, I'm just Can you imagine?
You're probably right there. You're probably right. So, definitely.
They're like, Serbian collusion. They're like, what? What are you talking about?
On DraftKings, the minus 135 favorite, Jamal Hill, debuter, coming in at 8,500 against Stocic's 7,700 plus 105 underdog. So, maybe not that big of an underdog. But
I'm actually surprised he's not the favorite.
I'm actually a big fat stay away from this fight as far as my DraftKings.
I think so too. I think it's going to end up two big jelly arms that we're going to hear the ref say fight at least twice. Come on, fight!
Yep, I totally agree. I think they even get pushed off of the fence to fight and even stood up off the ground if they get there to fight. They're going to get so gassed.
If you need excitement, though, maybe it's the next fight.
Maybe it is with Hannah Cyphers coming in against Angela Hill at 115 pounds. These ladies come to scrap. If you want a good interview, you know where to go. Hannah Cyphers dropping dimes on the mic out there.
Don't embarrass her. Don't embarrass her.
She gets embarrassed easy. Easy. I love Hannah Cyphers. I mean that with all love. With love. Love. Cyphers comes in there showing her toughness.
I have an interview real quick that I'm going to play from Hannah Cyphers.
Do it.
Here it is, you guys. It's a world exclusive. World exclusive. Hannah, how do you feel about going into this fight with Angela Hill? And we're back.
Riveting. Absolutely love that. So, Hannah Cyphers definitely...
Blushed.
You need to get... local speaking class, improv or whatever, not improv, freaking leadership speaking or something at the community college, girl, because you're in the UFC. People want to hear you, especially now that it's people know that she's shy about it. People are going to be like, here's a mic in your face, say a word, say anything, say duck.
Yeah.
Like,
we know you're shy.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be all the, yeah.
Right in your face because that's so.
I like the Ollie G because it does seem like somebody is like erect dick in your face when people just put their power mic
We can
in
only
your
wish.
face. I know. I would do like, and people would be like, stop. I'd be like, so Emmanuel, how do you feel about going? You'd be like,
Get that corn out of my face.
Anyway, sorry.
So, this breakdown.
With poor Hannah Cyphers, can you imagine? She'd be like,
Yeah.
poor Shockwave.
So, Angela Hill, longtime veteran, getting back in the UFC, 10-7. She is also
damn, if someone's gonna fuck up my night, it's Angela motherfucking
fucking Hill every time. The anime
my
buff
special
in
water
there.
is kicking in.
She likes to keep it striking, likes to be a Muay Thai striker. On the ground, she's always been a garbage. Doesn't throw takedowns in there. She's a point fighter. Not tons of power. She's gotten minimal knockouts in her life, but she's a point fighter. Kill you by 1,000 cuts. Has better aim, elbows, angles. Gas tank, not so good. Hannah Cyphers, also a kickboxer. Doesn't throw takedowns as well. More boxing acumen. She's more down the line, down the center, almost karate type of striking. Not many head kicks where Angela Hill will throw actual knees, elbows, and stuff in there and just use more points of contact. Though I give the gas tank a bit of an option, a bit of a better gas tank for Cyphers. This is a dirty fight. This is a coin flip. I don't see how you could be that heavily favored, but I need a favorite. Yeah, I'm finally picking one. Give me Angela Hill in a decision, but I think this is a grimy point fight. I'm going to probably stay clear away. I ain't touching this with 10-foot pole as far as DraftKings. But
it's so crazy that this is just a horrible
unreal
way that things that we have to put on our Fight Big Championship.
Unreal, right?
I actually think Hannah Cyphers is going places. That being said, not that I don't think Angela Hill is, but she's kind of like, when I shut my eyes and I think of Angela Hill, she gives me like a Jim Miller vibe. Like she's just going to fucking stutter there right around like the hot 25, and you're going to have be well-rounded to get past Angela Hill. I think she takes fights on short notice to always step in at the division and save UFC cards. I think she's a fun enough personality on Twitter and speckles in her wins. That being said, Hannah Cyphers is like steadily crawling. I'm kind of surprised she's the underdog here. Angela Hill stays at range and points like she defensive strikes only as you're trying to get out. She's not aggressive at all. I just think Hannah Cyphers is a little better everywhere, and I hope she's even getting better than the last time we saw her. This is going to be her hometown fight, so if I think this is going to go to decision, even a close decision, I'm going to give it to the girl that's from the area. Give me Cyphers' decision. Give me the slight underdog. I bet that changes toward line time.
I bet it gets a lot closer.
I just don't.
That's right. That's off. That line's off.
It's off because Angela Hill has a bigger name. But just look into the fight record of these two fighters. Hannah Cyphers has been fighting on undercards here and being an active fighter, taking a lot of fights in a year. I just think she's gaining experience. That Macy Barber fight, was that one of the ones that we were like, quick stoppage, or did we think that one was like,
no, that was just, but a lot of people didn't think she'd make it out of the first round. And
you know what? I would say that how quickly Macy Barber got handled, I think that's part of these lines, maybe.
What was the reason people love her is because she's coming off of a 2-fight winning streak. Was it the Jody Escobel or the Viana fight where she broke her forearm and kept fighting? I think it was the Viana fight. I could be off on that, but just toughness.
And Escobel isn't even close. Angela Hill, school Escobel. Angela Hill, school Escobel.
100%.
I just,
100%.
Macy, or Hannah Cyphers, every reason that I like JJ Aldridge, Hannah Cyphers gives me, like, what I used to feel for JJ, it's almost like I put it all on Hannah Cyphers. Like, she gives me that, like, this girl's a mad little underdog. Like, there's a little spark in there. And Angela Hill just doesn't have that spark. She just seems like she's showing up to work for me. She's not showing up to win. She's showing up to work. And sometimes she wins and sometimes she loses, but she doesn't ever have the extra where I'm like, she handedly won that. I'm like, this could go either way.
I agree with that. I agree with that. So you can't be confident. That's why I'm staying away from this. On DraftKings, the -175 favorite, Angela Hill, is 8,600 against Hannah Cyphers, 7,600 plus 145.
Is Raleigh Durham by the sea, or are we in the mountains here?
I think it's by the sea. It's by a river.
Okay.
It's by a body of water. How about that?
Yeah.
So, definitely one that don't like being on my 5 big championships. But hey, Hot 25 decision. I'll take that any day of the week.
I'm going to have to look at weigh-ins, but you know what? Both these girls always look legit at weigh-ins. Yeah, we're only at 440 feet, so we don't have to worry about.
We ain't got to worry about that.
Damn, I was going to hope that swayed me a little more towards Cyphers. But
is she maybe the local? Who's the local here?
Cyphers. She's from North Carolina. Go on and mount up.
If
Wasn't that what the song was called?
I don't know what that. I don't know
North
if it is.
Carolina, I'm on a mount up and take a shot off and burp like a head like a helicopter. I don't know what it was. Something like that.
It was. Was it Petey Pablo?
Yeah.
Yeah, Petey, my boy. So, if there's bad, I mean, you have a great point here. I'm not playing Angela Hill for 8,600 on my DraftKings.
No way! She's never gotten that many points in her life.
And Cyphers can get a 30 points on top of all of the strikes she lands for winning that fight, because that's what they give to the winner. If there's a fight to throw, if there's a fight that the judges come in a little bit heavy, it's going to be Cyphers. The crowd's going to go crazy, right? Unless it's Santa Cyphers' kin. Because if it's their kin, they're going to be like this. They're going to have the camera on them, and they're going to be, you want an interview of their family?
Yeah, hold on. We do have one. It's funny that you said that. I have her mom and dad.
And brothers and sisters all hanging out.
What world exclusive? Hi, I'm so glad you could join us, Mr. and Mrs. Cyphers. You're going to be at the fight in North Carolina. Do you have any encouraging words to give to your daughter about the fight? And we're back.
Outstanding. That's quality journalism, if you ask me, right there. World exclusive.
We never do that on the show.
Yeah,
we never have clips where we go interview fighters, which we actually should do more because they're like a mile that way and a mile that way and a mile that way.
So maybe the judges won't hear her fans. I'm just saying.
It's a silent arena. It's full of her fans.
Yeah, but that's why the judges get all creeped out.
It's silent.
Angela Hill gets all silent hilled.
Boom!
How you like that?
She walks out, dead silence.
Silent Hill.
Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be kind of fucking crazy if, like, it was so local for a fighter when another fighter walked out, they were...
Yeah, that'd be terrifying.
That would be fucking awesome. That would be as good as Cron Gracie's.
I was about to say, that was the best walking I've ever heard in my life.
That should be Tony Ferguson's, but I want to see him breakdance, so whatever. Anyway, different fight, different night.
Then we move on to 125 pounds in a great one here. Fight of the night contender. I haven't said that much tonight, but this one's got to be on there. Jordan Espinoza coming in against Alex Perez. Give me a good old Mexican name.
Yeah, there it is. That's like Smith in Mexico.
Exactly. So Alex Perez coming in with a 22-5 record. He's out here repping LaTB, throwing up our graphics before his fights. He's been a long-time fan. We appreciate it.
I need to make him a new one.
Mr. Perez coming off of a loss in the UFC to Joseph Benavidez, but where...
That's Joey B. He's going for a championship.
Right, he beat up Shorty Torres before that handedly, and then as of late, decisioned De La Rosa the submission grappler in there, really showed that he has wrestling credentials. Coming out of Team Oyama, he's with Felice Herring, Esparza, all those people that are slightly getting better. Is who else is there? Moreno has been there for a bit as well, or he cross trains there, but Perez.
Brandon Moreno's awesome.
Right. Perez.
You should have started with his name.
That camp. Well, that's where they made their names, but that camp legitimately has good people coming in and out of there that are progressing. And Perez is one of those fighters. If you watch that Shorty Torres fight, it went one round. Perez threw over 114 strikes in under 4 minutes against Shorty Torres. That's how explosive Perez can be. He can get hit though in some of these flurries. He will throw 5 and 7 punch combinations in there, but he can get countered. Joey B showed it in there where it's like, yeah, you can't just throw wildly at times because you will get caught. And he proved that against Rosa. He came in with a much more measured approach because Alex Perez does have all those credentials, does have the power. He just needs to calm down and let the finish come instead of look for it and then be finished himself. Espinoza, though, having a 14-6 record, hasn't looked bad in the UFC. Contender Series fight, he won via punches. Eric Shelton, a decision. Then he last lost against Matt Schnell, triangle choke 5 months ago, where he was a big favorite there. Schnell being a little bit tricky in there. I like him in there, but mixed review. Espinoza, though, Espinoza is a wrestler with power. He throws in a Darce as well. He's coming out of the Matt Luthers MMA. Good black belt that fought back in the day, but really like the Darces on him when he gets to the ground. But when we saw him be off of his back and on into position, that triangle that Schnell got him in wasn't that sneaky. It wasn't that unreal. It was just Espinoza can knock you out as much as he can submit you, so he's a double threat in there, but there is openings. He can get pushed up and people put in his face, and he doesn't like a lot of pressure, but he tends to be a good front runner. When he is in lead of the fight, he's got a good jab on him, good right hand to follow it up and throw up some good kicks. It's whether Perez gets right in his face or stays back. I feel like regardless, I think Perez is the better fighter here. I think he has a slightly better gas tank. I think the one-shot finish possibility comes to Espinoza, not only in the striking, but in the submissions. If he gets a submission, he's the one. If there is a submission in the fight, it's going to be more likely him. But I think Perez is more likely going to get a finish where it's more of a kill him by 1,000 cuts, where he lands a lot, where Espinoza can just counter, and he's losing the fight until he wins. Give me Perez decision. I could turn that into a finish later in the rounds. I really like this fight. It's really close. Actually, it's not really close. A lot of people have Perez. I'm surprised. So give me Perez. I got a decision here. Who do you have in this fight?
I have Perez decision too. I'm really high on Alex Perez. I have been for a while now. He's kind of one of these guys I see as he's so well-rounded. He has such fast hands. He has great takedown defense. He keeps the fight where he wants to keep it. Going up against Joey B, come on. Not only is that guy, he's like literally not just a living legend, but an active living legend. Like he's
fighting for a belt.
And it was so early in Perez's career. I think no one would know about this guy at all. He's sneaking up so quietly. He's the perfect person that I'm actually surprised he's such a moderate favorite. It bums me out because everybody was so high on Espinoza. Like if you look at his last fight with Schnell, everyone was high on Espinoza. Everyone. So it's like everyone jumped ship. It's a bunch of like Sally come like latelys. Like come on, like stick loyal for a little bit. I love Espinoza too. I don't hate on him for this. I actually do think it goes to decision. I think he is going to put Alex Perez in a couple of submission attempts that we're going to get to see Alex Perez's ring IQ, and we're going to see him we're like, okay, good, he's grabbing the wrist. Okay, good. Okay, this round's over. He survived the round. I think there are going to be those nerve-wracking times, and I see Espinoza handling it on the ground. On the feet, I think Alex Perez can stay enough at distance, use his hands, and do everything right. I do think Espinoza has more power, but that power burns out halfway through the first round, and then I think Alex Perez will handle it. I don't know what he costs, but I do think he lays a legitimate amount of points.
On DraftKings, you're going to end up paying for the minus 280 favorite, Alex Perez, 9,100 against Espinoza, 7,100 plus 200 underdog. A lot of people going with Perez, but I'm seeing here on top a lot of people all having decision. So for decision type of a fight, it's a little steamed up. I can't
what's
bet
his
him.
average points?
80 points for Perez.
Yeah, he lays a lot of hands, and in this kind of night, 80 points might be a high.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's not a bunch of knockouts and everything, and I could see him because of the amount of volume he continues to lay. Espinoza, we don't see him. He either finishes or now is finished, so we don't get to see if he has that Oliveira quit and. Which I can't even give to Charles Oliveira anymore. I gotta almost take it away.
He turned it around.
Yeah, he has turned it around. I like to call it now. It's called that Showtime quit. You know what I mean?
So you're going decision again with that? I got decision as well. I am going to put Perez on cards there for 9-1. He's one of the few guys on top there that I am going to be picking.
Here's where this next fight that we're about to talk about, this is what I think will separate us from the rest of the Fight Pick Championship and get us a little hot 25. I don't have no idea what you're picking, but I have a feeling you and I are going to go different than the rest of the pack. Anyways, let's see what you do.
Rafael Dos Anjos in the co-main event, coming in against Michael Chiesa. Chiesa in here from Washington, the 15-4 fighter.
He was actually 18th on the Forbes list for most paid athlete in 2019.
Chiesa was.
Yeah, because of that Conor bus accident.
Because of that Conor.
I'm just making that shit up.
Because he got paid. We earned that Conor money. That Proper's been teaching him.
From that little tiny cut on his forehead. Rose hasn't been the same since.
Truth.
She lost her championship.
Truth. Absolutely true.
China won the whole war. Anyway.
So, in this fight, we have long-time returning 15-4 155-pounder moving up to 70. Chiesa getting a fight against Diego Sanchez. Then as of late, he beat Carlos Condon in a armbar straight up over his back. But Diego Sanchez and Condon, I know Diego's having a bit of a resurgence kind of right now, but still, I'm not betting either one of those guys for anything. I even had Chiesa against Condon, but it's because I'm fading Condon. At 70, Chiesa does look like he filled up, but his striking is still dog shit. It's still not good. He has to get you to the ground. He has a good single and double and will scramble there, but even on the ground, he's been proven to be able to be neutralized. Diego Sanchez was able to do that, where they got into scrambles and he did get on top more, but he didn't look as killer as he used to early in his career when he was catching up a lot more triangles and stuff. It's just Chiesa is a specialist, and that's getting to the ground. Dos Anjos is a jack of all trade, master of none, former champ at 55, moved up to 70, had multiple fights at 70. I feel like this fight, in a way, is kind of him versus Neil Magny, where it's the same type of length, same type of body type. And we saw what Dos Anjos did in that calf kick to a freaking north-south choke. But Dos Anjos here has been winning and losing to only the absolute best in there. Coming off of a loss to Leon Scott. In there in a decision, doesn't look so bad as of late. Beating Kevin Lee,
Head case Kevin Lee,
losing to Usman in a decision, and Lawler actually beating Lawler in a decision in there as well, and losing to Covington in a decision. But all those guys I'd put in over Chiesa by a landslide. I feel like if Dos Anjos wants to keep this striking, he's going to be able to do what he wants there. If it goes to the ground, he's going to be able to do what he wants there as well. I feel like he's a stronger fighter, has the better cardio, and has been in longer 5-round fights. This is a 3-rounder, but I just don't see where Chiesa comes in as a threat. He's not going to rock Dos Anjos on the feet. Better strikers haven't been able to do that. And on the ground, he's not going to submit Dos Anjos. He's a world champion black belt multiple times over. And shown it in the cage. He's proven it by submitting and just getting out of. He's ripped his own ear off. Colby Covington ripped his ear off getting out of that guillotine, and Dos Anjos kept fighting. We know what we get with him, and it's always a professional level. Chiesa, a bit of a head case as well. Again, biggest payday to date is that proper money, so I think that I don't know. I got just Dos Anjos everywhere. I think he's got the checks in every single position. Other than age, he is 35 and definitely has the worst miles because he's been in harder fights.
Do you think that Chiesa even has any wrestling that Dos Anjos has to worry about? Because that's really the only weakness we see in Dos Anjos is his wrestling.
Nope. I don't see that there's any.
I mean, we don't have to worry about striking.
Correct.
Do you think, and it's only a 3-round fight, so you don't even have to worry about any cardio. So it's either that Michael Chiesa shows up right now, because we're only seeing him against the guys that were like, this guy is done. He should not be in the UFC anymore. And you think that the guys that Dos Anjos is going against are like all guys that are at the top. Like he's
One
like
in
five.
2 fives. And yeah, Chiesa, Carlos Condon, not ranked. Diego Sanchez, not ranked. So.
Do you think the UFC is trying to get rid of Michael Chiesa?
I'm not sure. I don't think so, because he's going to have many fights after this.
But don't you think it's a weird matchup in general, 18-7, like their rankings? Like their actual welterweight rankings are so far apart. Like Dos Anjos is, like you're saying, really at the top of the class. There's like a bunch of wrestlers up there, and then him, who's been doing the damn thing forever at 155,
like
getting a bunch
5.
of miles. He probably has made the most comfortable transition to the 170 out of the 155ers. Cowboy, Kevin Lee, Michael Chiesa. Didn't we see Michael Chiesa lose his first one? No, that wasn't. Anthony Pettis wasn't. And he's losing against Pettis. Dos Anjos
Submission.
is a better ground game than Pettis.
Thank you. You're talking it through.
No, that's my only question to you was we don't have to worry about wrestling at all. So do you think it's a finish here, or you just think
I think it's going to be a decision, but if there's a finish, I think it's only Dos Anjos getting the finish.
And you would like to say the game plan is there to beat Dos Anjos, but Chiesa doesn't
not have those ability.
Kamaru Usman and Colby are not nearly as good on the ground as Chiesa. And I fucking hate Michael Chiesa. I've been trying to fade this bitch forever. I can't believe he's won his last 2 fights.
but with that, Chiesa doesn't have those entries and exits on the takedowns and striking. Like, he doesn't have any of those attributes. He's just big and lanky.
You know what? The number one thing for me, I actually am surprised that Dos Anjos is such a moderate favorite. I thought Michael Chiesa was going to be a favorite turning it on. I thought me and you were going to go with this guy that's lost fucking 3 of his last 4 fights.
Okay. I thought it was weird. I was like, I'm going with a favorite.
I've never picked Chiesa, but I didn't know he was such a favorite. I really thought off his win streak compared to Dos Anjos.
I think other people see it.
I just... the Leon Edwards loss to me. Leon Edwards is so much better.
Top 5 guy.
That's why everyone is ducking. Leon Edwards should get the
ducking award.
He should have Leon Edwards duck blue check mark. But yeah, I just have Dos Anjos decision here. I'm giving Michael Chiesa a little bit of respect that Dos Anjos just wears him out, but I think he could put total body work together to get Michael out of there. I was so surprised. I thought the win streak of it, and I don't like Carlos Condit. I thought he should be out for a while, and I don't like Diego Sanchez. I thought he should be out for a while. So I just thought Dos Anjos, everyone's going to have him as an underdog. He hasn't beat anyone in the last, I forgot totally that he even fought Kevin Lee. I'm like, he hasn't even beat anyone, and I don't even know the last time he's beat someone. I thought his last win was against Robbie Lawler 2 years ago. So I was like, there's no way Dos Anjos is going to be a decision. I haven't picked him in so long. So anyway, I'm kind of never mind. I hyped you guys up. I thought it was going to be like, we're both going to have a good underdog here. It's going to be the business. Never mind. 73% of Tapology has Dos Anjos. Decision, no less.
Dos Anjos is going to be the big favorite. Minus 260 coming in at 8,900 on DraftKings against Chiesa's 7,300 plus 200 underdog Chiesa. Feel like it's written on the wall. It'll be a surprise to me if Chiesa ends up coming through with this. It really will be.
It's going to be, I think, Dos Anjos' body work. He has nasty uppercuts, crazy inside game. Michael Chiesa has 0 kicks. The only thing Michael Chiesa can go for is, like you're saying, that was my only question, wrestling takedowns because of Dos Anjos. But if he doesn't have any of that, you can't teach a jiu-jitsu guy wrestling in 8 months. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'm not worried about it because that was the only thing. I never seen Dos Anjos just get peace. I'm like, this guy's over. This guy's over. And then the Kevin Lee, you got a little hope, but that was the worst Kevin Lee ever. So, Yeah, never mind. Dos Anjos decision too.
So then we move on. Are you going to play much of Dos Anjos for
Yeah,
8,900?
I think he does a lot of bag work on people. That's how I picture him, like a 73 pointer.
I agree. He's active. And we have so many underdogs, so many 700 guys that I'm like, I feel like I'm going to be able to put 3 9,000 and then stack them with a couple of 7,000.
I might do one weird card with Michael Chiesa, but it'll just be my weird card.
Your one throwaway card to get it out of your system.
Yeah.
I need to implement that back into my game more.
Damn.
Definitely.
Still bummed. I thought everyone would be like heavy fade on Dos Anjos. He's lost all his last fights.
I wish, because I would have picked.
I hate expanding it. Sometimes when I'm like,
oh, I know what's gonna happen here.
It's gonna be good. No one's gonna have it. I see the future. No one's gonna have it. Never mind.
Then we move on to the main event. 265 pounds. The big boys are coming in. We have Curtis Blaydes coming in against Junior Dos Santos, Dancing with the Stars himself, the 21-6 fighter. Dos Santos has formerly had the belt, coming off of a knockout loss 6 months ago to Ngannou via hooks in there. He was on a 3-fight winning streak. Excuse me. Beating Derek Lewis, beating Ivanov in a decision in there. He is definitely a striker. Excuse me.
Maybe you need a little whiskey.
Maybe. So in there.
If you need a sip, I can interview Cypress Family again.
We have that on the back burner.
Yeah, I have asked him like 3 more questions.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
I even have him doing a LaTB plug.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder how much that costed.
It was a free interview.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That must be good audio. So, Dos Santos.
We can save it for next time. We'll save it for when there's not a fight.
Exactly. There you go.
We should do a special.
So, Junior Dos Santos is a striker mainly. Good right hand. Good jab on him. Good kick. We'll throw an axe kick every once in a while. All right takedown defense. I mean, you could say that some of his issues have been against grapplers, and Cain Velasquez is notorious foil. As of late, the big power punches have been getting him to a little bit more because he's been a long-time veteran at 35 years old. A lot of people said those Cain Velasquez fights changed his life. He's fought 7 more times since then, since his life changed already, since those brutal beatings. So, but there's open coaches that are like, Sagano's never been the same since that Cain Velasquez number 3. So, Dos Anjos can put it together against the Derek Lewises, the Ivanovs. I had him in those spots. Am I naive
to say he is the best boxing at 265?
No, I think you're absolutely right there. Great jab with it right down the middle as well. Good cardio footwork, but we know what we're getting with JDS. Mainly a striker. Jiu-jitsu? No. It's just not happening. He just wants to keep it where he wants to, and that's boxing. One of the nicest guys you'll ever see. Some of the funnest tape. Always singing, always dancing. All right, let me sing. Okay, I'll try this one. And then he just smiles.
He just before
smiles.
Nose break, handsome motherfucker. He ain't bad looking now, but before his nose was all cockeyed, handsome. Not that looks matter, but we always talk about looks here at LaTB.
True.
That's what the L stands for, looks.
True. Looks and
lesbian and lesbo. And Lipsky. She's one of E's favorite fighters.
So against coming in here against Curtis Blaydes, the 12-2, longtime prospect, only losing twice, once in the UFC, only to Francis Ngannou. Actually, the only 2 losses are to Francis Ngannou. Both times. Little secret, I'm going to fill you in here. I have only picked against Curtis Blaydes once. And it was in the first Ngannou fight. I picked Ngannou. Second fight, I picked Curtis Blaydes. Didn't work out for me so much. But either way, I have been on the Curtis Blaydes bandwagon.
From the beginning.
From day one. Said he was going to be a champ. His wrestling... next level. He's coming out of that Team Elevation, which we just saw Drew Dober do all sorts of work out of there. He's been saying that they've had a crew of guys there for 2 years that have really been putting in the work. He's got heavyweights training with him. What I don't like about Curtis Blaydes is that he gets hurt in every single one of the fights that I watch tape on. Against Overeem, against Who was it in there? Abdurakhimov. Everyone. It's just, they will land. He will eat an uppercut. He'll eat a right hand to get in there on the legs. But once he's on the ground, he's so stifling with his top pressure. And now that he's actively throwing a lot more punches with his ground and pound, watch that Overeem fight. The whole fight. Great fight. It's on free on YouTube right now. Now, Curtis Blaydes, not only is he using his takedowns when he's lining his guys up from the outside, which his striking has gotten better, but there was a combination there where Curtis Blaydes landed a 4-punch combination, and instead of going for 7 punches, he shot a double leg takedown and was doing that rinse and repeat against all of his opponents. I think he does that a lot here, but on the ground, the elbows that he's implemented, you could even just see Overeem and everyone else, all of a sudden, they're not worried about what's happening with their hips. God dang it, he's freaking landing elbows on the
interview
inside.
coming up. Tell me when to press it.
So, give me Curtis Blaydes, TKO, round number 4. I think it's with ground and pound. I think it's all of the takedowns add up. I'm going to be shitting my pants, though, here. Because Zinga and Dos Santos.
No, wait. Dos Santos
can crack. He's got a good uppercut, and he's got good boxing in there. And it only takes one. The only guy who's been able to put out Blaydes has been Ngannou, which is next level worth of power. Dos Santos could land it. Give me Blaydes TKO round number 4. I think the wrestling is what is the beginning to the end, just like Cain Velasquez. I think that's the blueprint. Take him down so that those power shots don't happen in the later round, and then it's just a matter of time.
How long ago was that Cain fight?
Like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, that can't even be included in New Dos
Okay.
No, I like everything you're saying, though. I actually have Curtis Blaydes to win by decision, and the only reason I think decision is I do think fighting the hands on the takedown, he's going to be held up against the fence a little longer. If you look to the guys that he's just slaying and taking down over and over again, not like Overeem, but yeah, like Overeem. I think the takedown defense of Dos Santos... What the hell?
Dos Santos. You're right.
Is so much. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's too many dos.
Yeah.
Dos Santos is so much better than Overeem's. He's just more well-rounded of a fighter than Overeem's kickboxer-esque self. I just think his ring IQ in general is going to be a little more dangerous. That being said, I still think Curtis Blaydes is going to handle it. I think we're going to see upwards of 6 takedowns per round, maybe even 3, but I do think Dos Santos is going to get back to his feet the first 2 rounds, then the 3rd round. I have it going to decision. I like what you're saying about the finish because I am waiting to see a progression of Blaydes that we haven't really gotten to see, or, you know, like he's murking these other guys. This is credit to Dos Santos right now more than it is a takeaway from Blaydes to go to decision. I just think we're going to see a grimy, boring fight by the end, but it's going to be, the term I've learned now from wrestlers, or when you hear people talk about wrestling, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I think we're going to see a lot of that, and Dos Santos just trying to stay alive, waiting for the next round, trying to get back in there at the beginning of it. Curtis Blaydes avoids what he needs to, another takedown. So... Yep. Yeah, anyway, Curtis Blaydes, I think it's going to be a crazy 2, like 50-46 kind of thing.
I totally agree. I don't see maybe 1 round you can give.
Yeah, there might be a round Curtis Blaydes, like in the 3rd, where he decides to catch his breath and just stay at distance for the fight.
Yep.
After he already knows Dos Santos' arms are lazy.
After they get, because he's out
grappling him, yeah.
Absolutely in there, but it's risks in here.
But I like what you're saying about the 4th. If I think he might take off the 3rd, I like what you're saying about the 4th, of him coming in hot, coming in for the heavier takedown, laying some nasty elbows. We're seeing actually the women's division work in this like nasty ground and pound game in a way that if these heavier guys, it's over so much quicker. So I would love to see that. I just think the guys, usually defensively, their technique is so much more advanced that when they're going against a wrestler, they're like, I've been here before. Whereas when we're seeing the ladies, where they're advanced in the ground and pound and wrestling, the ladies that aren't advanced in that are just getting murked out. So I don't know. I'm excited about it. I'm finally... this is going to scare some of our fans. I'm thinking of one specific fan from the UK when I say this. Or, you know what? I actually think of 2 fans when I say this. When I say, I am going to jump on the Curtis Blaydes hype train. It's not even a hype train. It's a legitimate, proven...
What's your rule when you jump on?
I know.
they fall
might be
off.
I hope I'm not. I know.
Don't do that to me. Don't put that evil
I
on
know,
me.
but you know what? I think this is a secure enough train. This isn't something that you created this year.
I've been
even
on it.
last year.
I've
You've
been
been
on
talking about this since like 2016. You've been talking about this since we were Lesbo and the Bean and not being allowed in the algorithms because our name
When
was
we were
Lesbo
getting
and the Bean. So, yeah.
On DraftKings, you're going to end up paying for the minus 250 favorite Curtis Blaydes, 9,000 even against Junior Dos Santos is 7,200 plus 195. A lot of people see a finish. A lot of people think it's probably going to be ground and pound is what I'm assuming. That's what
I think you're totally right on that. I'm trying to give Junior just a little credit and that American Top Team nudge in my head of like they know exactly what to expect. They know exactly what to expect. But gosh, if what you're saying is true, like nope, he's always a boxer. He never has ground game. This is always how it goes.
Yep.
Then if it is a lot like the Kane thing, I could totally see elbows finishing by the then why even take so long as the fourth? I could totally change your way by it, but I do not see a win for Dos Santos anywhere.
That's kind of what I'm
It's a
seeing.
comfortable bet. I think this is where all the underdogs come into play, so you can afford Curtis Blaydes.
I feel like I'm gonna probably only go 20% on Curtis Blaydes. I'm not that sold just because Dos Santos is definitely very high up there.
Curtis Blaydes will be my linchpin, and he will be everywhere.
Oh, wow, okay.
On my
Wow.
fights. I actually think this is what the underdogs are for. Just the amount of
Right.
takedowns and how smart he is. He plays his points where he needs to.
Averages 91 points in DraftKings.
Smart.
With only 2 losses against Dos Santos's 80 points average, which isn't bad as well.
It was hard for me to get on the Curtis Blaydes bandwagon because way back when, if you're an old school listener, Curtis Blaydes and Ngannou kind of came in at a similar time.
Yep.
And I took Ngannou and he took Curtis Blaydes. And I got this rise that he eventually had to come on my thing. And I was like, yeah, look at me picking the hot one. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, that was hotter, brighter, light. And Ngannou's doing good things now.
By far.
But Curtis Blaydes has been laying just steady work the whole time, steadily climbing to the top. It's almost like heavyweight Khabib. You got to give him a little bit of credit without the 2 knockouts obviously being in there by the same dude that just happened to have his number. But that's what you're saying. Dos Santos going in for a takedown, uppercut. He is nasty uppercut.
He has that, and he has power. That's why I got to go 20 to 10% Blaydes. I'm not going to put... Well, I'm going to put a couple... I'm going to hedge my bets here in Santos because if he gets a win, it's a finish. He's not winning a decision. It's going to be a knockout finish if Dos Santos.
Yeah,
so
I like
I'm going to go 10 and 10.
Nasty little card.
Yeah, exactly. 10 and 10%. But
I'm going to go heavy
other
on
spots.
Curtis Blaydes. I'm finally going to go heavy on Curtis Blaydes. Yeah, I'm just want to send out love to the other podcasts that do the Fight Pick Championship with us. You guys are awesome. Good luck in 2020 with all your podcasts and listeners. And I can't wait to do some crossing of the streams or joining as guests. And we will come together as a pair or separate. Maybe you want a little knowledge. Maybe you want a little asshole. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you're looking for that day.
Pain.
Yeah, I don't know what you're looking for. But I want to send out love to all those people and make sure you're liking and subscribing and following them, blah. But I also, all of our listeners and fans that are still sticking around and pressing play every week, just loving the year. It's that clear vision. I got that 2020 vision.
let me